I'm in it.
Red leather, yellow leather, Heath Ledger. Oh, sorry.
Welcome to World Class Bullshitters. Actually, hold on. This isn't NPR. Welcome to World Class Bullshitters, the epitome of pop culture. I'm your host, Jeff Hicks, and with me tonight is the one, the only master of the mystic arts, Dion Green.
Baby. I may not be the hero you deserve, but I'm the hero you need right now. Holy shit. Amber Heard poops in beds.
And news or footage at 11. And tonight, folks, we are joined by one of our friends of the channel. You know him, you love him. He's my co-host, the one, the only, Mad the Magnificent. What is up, dude? How you doing tonight?
What's up? Two things. One, if you're gonna stick it in crazy, be gone by the morning. Two, you have the layout to where it cuts out my Twitter handle, and I don't want to erase any of these codes. All right.
There we go. We're not used to 3 people on WCBS, but that's what we got tonight. Because, folks, Nick has a family thing to take care of. It's all cool. And Kendo, I guess we should just make the announcement, right, Nick or Dion? Because so many people know about it already.
Finally.
Yep, agreed.
Kendo had a baby, folks. Yes, Kendo is a father. He got married a couple of months ago, and he had a baby just this past week. So Kendo is at home taking care of the future. So, folks, send out some positivity to the future. Kendo, congratulations, buddy. We tell you all the time, but we know how proud you are, and we're happy for you, man.
Wish you all the best in your new endeavors. We're going to miss you here on World Class Bullshitters, but I will do my best to take your position.
Yeah, and get better, Daisy. We love you. Woo!
Yes, we love you too. Dude, they were so fun at Loudy's wedding. I wish they were going to be at Jake's wedding, but
I get why Daisy decided to program with Kendra. Like, I'm like, yep, she's good. She's good people.
The funny thing is, people are like, all these guys have gone soft. Remember, folks, Loudy's wedding was drunken debauchery, and we have footage of it. I think it's over on Patreon, and our good friend Etip Pakoyan from the Place to Be Reviews is featured in that footage.
I love that guy.
Weren't we shit-faced and singing like that white girl song of 1,000 Miles?
Well, I like how he's like that white girl song, 1,000 Miles. Like he doesn't have the greatest Irish thousand ever. Oh yes, that's okay. Hillary saved you. You almost got judged.
Thank you. The Proclaimers.
That's 500.
Yeah, thanks, Dion.
Wait, trying to get us claimed and shit. My first night here.
Yeah, when I grow up. Well, you're doing a great job so far, Coco co-host. But folks, tonight, the Coco co-host, and well, me, of course, me, the host, and Dion as well, the other host of the show. We have a Doctor Strange review. We've all seen the film. We're going to be talking about that, a Marvel film that surprised the hell out of me. There's a lot to talk about. It's a visual feast. It's a fun ride, and it's a Marvel movie. And well, you're going to find out what that means in just a few moments. But
I agree with some of that.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to find out in a little bit how much of it you agree with, because we have a fun little in-depth review. But first up, folks, we want to start the show like we always do with a little bit of housekeeping. So we are getting closer and closer to Star Wars Celebration. We will make the announcement. We have our contestants. We'll play the game on next week's show. Obviously, with the birth of Kendo's baby, Nick having his family thing, that sent us back a little bit, but who cares? Real life's important too. So we'll make that announcement, but I have the tickets. Everything's confirmed, and we will get those to you, the winner, whoever they may be. So make sure that when you send in your contestant slip to win or whatever to play, you ask for me, because I'm going to win for you, the people. Call me the people's champ. Sorry, Dion. I'm taking it back, jabroni. See?
Ooh.
Yeah. I see it hurt you deep. Karate Man, he bleed on the inside.
He ain't got time to cry.
You don't have time to cry. Now, folks, over on WokebustersComic.com, we have two new updates. One about what I've been up to, some of the cool artistic opportunities I've had, as well as something we're going to do to get you guys pumped for the project a little more. So, as I said in the first update, I need a little bit more time to do the art. I can't rush it. As you see, I shared a decent amount of pages completed, so you can read the story, you can see the action, you can get the tone of Wokebusters. It reads like a 1980s comedy, which is not stereo instructions for those who are wondering. But folks, you can get more information over there. But what I meant to say is, I'm going to be sending out the shirts, the trading cards, the posters, all that fun stuff, the slime before the book. So no one really has to wait too much longer for some fun Wokebusters stuff. So I'm going back into production to get those trading cards made, and then I will keep everyone up to date over there. What that means is for everyone listening, if you want to get your stuff like that, make sure you go over to wokebusterscomic.com and back it right now. And then after that, send us pictures on social media. If you rocking the Wokebusters shirt, the iconic logo that's on there, soon to be iconic, as well as the trading cards and the other fun extras. So wokebusterscomic.com right now, and you guys can get in on that. I will make an announcement at the end of the month when the date will close, and you guys will know exactly the step-by-step process. We have all the manufacturers lined up. It's kind of exciting because it's my favorite part. Remember, I like to buy collectibles, and I get to make them too, so it's fun. It's like buying them for everybody. It's like a gift that keeps on giving. So, Dion, this holiday season, I'm going to stock your stuffing with some Wokebuster slime. You better be prepared.
Ooh. Yeah, you will. It's
Whoa.
Buffalo Dion saying, good job.
Oh, is this a
Buffalo
thing? When did this?
It's so new.
Immediately.
You will, Dion, because your old pal Buffalo Jeff is here to stay.
Okay.
Yeah. Later in tonight's show, folks, we will
return to Dion's safe place.
You know what I should do is create the Legend of Buffalo Jeff and make it as a one-page backup story for Wokebusters. Folks, if you would like that, tell me. I will find a way to make that happen. It's my comic. I can do whatever I want. I write it, I draw it, I have fun with it. Now, we need to see what the word of the day is, because I don't know if the audience... never mind. It's our audience. Of course, they're going to beat us to the punch. Now, folks, I had some technical difficulties yesterday, so clearly I was not able to do the Star Wars May the 4th stream, but I'm going to make up for it. Obviously, TLJ Screwjob, I'm going to read both of your super chats tonight, so thank you very much for sending those in. But the more I think about it, it was meant to not happen, because I respect those who want to celebrate May the 4th. I partook in a viewing of Star Wars 4K 77 myself last night. I celebrated the holiday. But here, around World Class Bullshitters, Star Wars Day is May 25th. That is the actual anniversary of Star Wars, the anniversary of Return of the Jedi. And I even believe Revenge of the Sith dropped May 25th, 2005. I could be wrong on that one, but I know for sure that A New Hope, then Star Wars, and Return of the Jedi do share that date. So we will do something special in replacement for that. So I'll get some better stuff laid out. And I may not even do the Star Wars sequels. I can't even say them. I was really glad my shit didn't work yesterday. I mean, I couldn't watch episode 8. I think I passed out. Dion, I needed you, man.
Don't worry. We'll make it right again.
I thought we were going to be talking about Revenge of the Sith on this one, and I mean, I only made it an hour into it before I'm like, I get it. I remember.
Well,
I like this guy. He likes Revenge of the Sith. I'll give it to you.
Yeah. It is Revenge of the 5th, Dion, so we will celebrate that film somehow. But folks, we want to talk about Doctor Strange. So let me tell you, though, the word of the day real quick, because it's from our friend SA Troubles 08. The word of the day is bunghole. Amber does bunghole. How Amber got her bunghole back, and Star Wars, The Rise of Bunghole.
Beavis and Butthead do bunghole.
That actually just works. I would watch that movie. Starship Bungholes.
I guess it would actually be Beavis and Butthead do Bungholio.
Is that the country where the bungholes come from? They emanate from Bungholio?
Oh, is it really? I guess no, like Beavis was like, I'm corn. Oh, wait, no, cornholio, not. Wait, did he say bungholio? It's been forever.
No, I am the great cornholio. I need teepee for my bunghole.
Oh, I knew bunghole.
Yeah, dude. Beavis and Butthead is the voice of a generation. Sadly, it's my generation. Yes. I love King of the Hill was better than Beavis and Butthead ever could imagine of being, but
Agreed.
It was a great show.
Agreed.
Did you guys see you can download Hank Hill in a mobile game?
I did.
Wait, just any? What do you mean, like any mobile game?
There is a mobile racing game available that you can get Hank Hill as a playable character in.
I don't know, man. It took me forever to stop playing that Star Wars game. I'm not gonna download any more games on my phone. I'm spending too much money.
Which Star Wars game?
Man, the same. I think you played it too. What was it even
The
called?
one that. Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Like with Yoda as the little icon.
Yeah, I believe. Right? Yeah, it was whatever one.
Yeah.
Like you had your little crew and you power them up, and you have to spend money to get more like energy or whatever.
Yeah, that game was Star Wars Heroes.
That was it. Yep.
Yeah, it was fun. I just refused to spend money on it.
I don't have that willpower.
Oh.
And I have burnable cash,
I do kind of, not really. I don't know. With the prices out here, I don't have burnable cash, but I have Game Pass, and I have this weird, that's not even a weird obsession. It's just for fun. I like to torture my Sims. It's 2022 and I'm bored. So I still will play the Sims when I need to play games. I know it sounds like I have access to all these other great things to play, Dion, but I just play the Sims because I'm mean, man. I give them terrible names like buttfuck, and I trap them in the house. I take away the doors,
I'm
and I
not
psychologically
surprised because you had a wrestler that was chicken fucker or whatever when we like SmackDown.
It was
Raw 2011.
It was Warrior Chicken, and his
Warrior
manager
Chicken,
was
yep.
and Fur Pipe.
That
was her.
I'm not surprised. He told her.
Yeah.
I read an article a few months ago. I forgot who it was from. It was like one of those, Mary Sue type places, but it was like linking how people treat their Sims to like being violent in real life.
I'm not surprised that's a real thing.
Think about their Buffalo Jeff. That's definitely your Buffalo Jeff coming out when you play
Buffalo
Sims.
Jeff gets a fucking knee to the fucking dome.
You think, Dion, you think he uses that voice when he's torturing? Yes.
That would.
I'll tell you.
There
what
are moments where it would be hilarious.
I will randomly cackle. Like with the one lady, she's got white skin like an albino, and she's got a white afro, and she's really awkward. So she gets like nervous around people. So I have these huge gatherings at her house, these big parties, and then I make her take off her clothes and be uncomfortable walking around people. It's hilarious. I will just laugh the whole time.
There's a lot going on in what you just described.
Yeah, right.
It's an E-rated game. How much damage can you do?
Yes. Now ass to ass.
Oh my god. So let's talk about Doctor Strange, because we're in a different multiverse tonight, folks. Oh man, I don't know how we should start this review. Actually, yes, I do. Doctor Strange was a surprise. I had no expectations going into this one. I wasn't really watching the trailers outside of you would catch them on TV or when they dropped initially. I wasn't reading any articles. I've been burned on fan theories and hype and all this other stuff in the build up to a lot of big movies. So I just want to see Doctor Strange, knowing I was up to date with what I needed to be up to date with. And I was surprised. I was so pleasantly surprised. Basic initial thought. Did you like it? Yes or no, Dion?
Yes, I liked it.
Oh,
Matt, what about you?
I think it's more complicated than that. There were things that I enjoyed, but yeah. Okay. Yes.
Well, then this is going to be a fun show because we don't want three dudes sitting around going, I agree. Isn't that right, Curtis Lindenfield?
I feel like I liked it the least.
Shade.
Hey, my sidekick's got to speak up, right?
He's not here and we are. Fuck you.
That's true, folks. If you want to know what that means, go back and what episode did I freak out on and left it in the show? It was
I think I was like 55 or something.
Yeah, that feels right.
Yeah, I forgot we have our co-host and our C-3PO archivist #1 fan over here. So, yeah, episode 55, Jeff loses his shit, and it's a real losing of shit moment. Check it out.
It happens.
It's hilarious. Oh my god, it's funny.
I had to finish the stream. I burnt my hands so I took something out of the oven, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh wait, I was gonna have to cook something for my girlfriend. So I immediately picked it back up, barehanded, burnt both my hands.
Yeah, I'll do it.
It finished the stream another 20 minutes just in agony. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't use the keyboard or anything. Oh, it was rough.
Hey, Miss Ninja Julian, do me a favor. Remind me at the end of the show, and yeah, gladly, for all the stuff you do for us, man. No problem.
Happy birthday, Kelly.
Yeah, happy birthday, man. Folks, send in your happy birthdays to our mod and friend of the channel, Miss Ninja Julian.
Happy birthday.
Somebody in here got a birthday.
Dr. Strange doesn't have a birthday. That's why he's so sad. Now, I'm glad we all, Dion, you and I liked it. Mad, you didn't. That's fine. But did you guys think it was better than the first film?
I do. I do. I think that it touched on things that the first one couldn't because it was before Endgame type shit. And it touched on some fun tropes, not just for the movie itself, but like in comic book movies in general.
For me, the first one felt so formulaic with like, it's like, oh, okay, obviously they've read Hero of 1,000 Faces. We get it. Joseph Campbell, hero's journey, right? Like it just hit all those beats of what you would see in your standard hero's journey, right? And so it just felt very, very like, oh, well, they got to start somewhere. This one radically different. But I do think that ever since Endgame, when all that was done, the standard of quality for MCU, both movies and their series, is so low now. Like when Doctor Strange, when this started, I'm like, this CGI is not up to par.
Oh, I will agree with you there, especially the stuff with Wanda. It looked so washed out. Like,
yeah,
folks, essentially, it looked like you could see the actor standing on the green screen or the blue screen. No, there weren't matte lines or anything like that, but you could kind of tell it needed like an extra layer or something to make them blend into the background a little. So
yeah, a little bit more time and keying.
Yeah, it's it's a Marvel movie. You expect. I personally agree with you about expecting the top of the line for those budgets, but I will chime in and say I did like it more than the first one. I actually really liked this movie a lot. I'm a Sam Raimi fan. I can say this early on without anybody hearing spoilers, but if you like Sam Raimi movies, you're gonna like this one.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's got the suspense, the horror. It's even got some gore. There's some gory moments in this that you're gonna go, ooh, this is a Marvel movie that had this. Yeah,
dude, I jumped a couple times. It got me.
Yeah. The one and here's one. If you're an Evil Dead fan, there's two huge callbacks. One of them, it's Bruce Campbell, but there's one you never thought you'd see in a Marvel movie in a million years. So if you're just looking for a validation of Sam Raimi's career, go back and watch this one, because it's a celebration of the guy who started making movies by himself and then fucking changed the face of entertainment, and now he gets to come back and do it again. This is such a unique
Michigan State alum.
Dude, I say that. Go White. I'm proud of him. Believe me.
This is the first MCU movie that I felt like, oh, okay, so they let them have their own vision and actually do what the movie they wanted to do with less restrictions on what they can do. You know what I mean? Because it's the least MCU movie of the MCU movies.
Yep.
Yeah, it's nice that we have an identity with some of these films. I have always criticized the Spider-Man, the new trilogy, because the director John Watts doesn't really have an identity. He's just kind of there. Anybody could really do that. Those Spider-Man films feel like a film by committee, which is really what they are. This Doctor Strange film had its own vision, its own tone, its own look. On every level, it was treated with such great care. Artistically, this is the best looking Marvel movie maybe ever. And I don't mean just from the effects.
Okay,
this thing was beautiful.
I don't like I get that, like, especially in that middle part, it felt like the CGI was a lot better. Like they did a lot better job for that middle chunk or whatever.
Yeah, I'd say the middle till the end was when you can tell that they were like, okay, this is where the money's going.
Yeah, like, this is all
early stuff they would show, but like the end sequences, they made it look beautiful.
I was shocked by some of the things that were done in this movie. Like, I was sitting next to this black guy, and he's like, "Holy shit!" Like, and we're looking at each other, don't know him, but we're like, "What is going on?" Like, I made friends.
Yeah. Now we had a decently full theater for a 3:00 screening in Los Angeles. How was your screening, Dion? Was it pretty full?
It was not packed. Hillary got them early because she was worried. The row in front of us, we were second from the front. it was completely empty. And even the premiere seats, there was always at least 1 or 2 seats available. We had to have 3 in a row. But like if there were at least 2 of you, you could have gotten in our theater.
For me, the first 3 rows were basically empty. The ones closest to the screens, was I get because I had to watch the last Spider-Man from the very front row. Did not work out well. But a lot of people got there late, dude. Like right as the time starting. I even talked to the dude next to me. I'm like, I don't know why, because when I ordered the ticket, this was like the only seat left, and like I was like, why is this place not full? And I had to buy this freaking ticket. And then I told them, y'all gonna have to move down if nobody gets there. But they got there anyway, and then we became friends.
I love making friends at movies. The guy at the Dark Knight and I, we had the sickest sense of humor because we couldn't stop laughing at all the Joker's like twisted parts with the pencil or this or that. Cincinnati is the area where some of the funnier jokes just don't land. Not because people were dumb, it's because they were uncomfortable by the Joker. I was the out of place guy laughing at that shit. So if you're out there, dude, I hope you're a listener, and I hope we're still laughing at the same fucking part.
I thought we were gonna get like shushed at one point because we were cracking jokes every once in a while, like the Avatar trailer, right? He's like, he's like, look, it's filled with Crips, man. Where are the Bloods at? I was like, I want to see one. I was like, I better see one of them sea walk in the movie, and he lost his shit.
That's the only way you're gonna get me to go see Avatar 2. We definitely will discuss that trailer and guessing some of the things here, after this Doctor Strange discussion, because I do want to talk about that. It's a bigger topic, it's definitely a bigger topic. So I know I'm not going to harp on how beautiful this film looked. I want to say one last thing before we start talking a little more about it before we go into spoiler territory. So being intentionally vague on all of our movie reviews. So if anybody that's listening to the show going, I kind of want to see this, but I don't want anything spoiled, I'll give you ample time. And then the people that want to stick around and know, you definitely can stick around and I'll tell you everything you want to know about this movie. There were some things that nobody saw coming. And there were some things where even I went, oh, yeah, it was awesome. I heard something that I haven't heard in like almost 30 years, and I got goosebumps. It was cool. It just goes to show you the power of music, no matter what form it takes.
Yes.
When you hear this specific theme song play,
yes,
for the first time in a movie. Holy shit! I was like, oh my god, please, 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 please stop this. Yep. Oh no. God damn, that was awesome.
Dude, as soon as it happened, I grabbed the guy next to him. I'm like, it's fucking 90s X-Men.
The moment I've lived for since I was a boy, my child goes, who is that? And I said, that's Professor Xavier. That's Professor X.
I don't feel like that's a spoiler because they showed him in the trailers.
That was the sound to hear in popular media. Like, oh, fuck, that was awesome.
Dion, I had more fun hearing the X-Men theme than when I heard the Batman theme come back in the Justice League movie. And I went into that movie saying, hey, man, they're bringing back the Danny Elfman score and they're playing the John Williams Superman theme. And you said, that doesn't mean the movie's going to be good. And it wasn't, and it didn't help. But damn it, the music was still great. Still there, man.
When that was over, I was like, oh, man, I hope that they play the alternate song, the Japanese, like, crazy 90s X-Men song. I was like, that would be awesome.
What would you do if in Japan they actually play that music instead of the generic whatever American version, which I love.
So
it's my favorite cartoon theme. Oh man,
that'd be great.
They don't deserve that.
Nobody deserves it. We didn't deserve some of the tidbits in this movie. That's it, folks. That was in the trailer. That's just trailer conjecture, whatever you want to call it. So I will say in a roundabout way, if you were worried about anything with America Chavez, don't worry. Honestly, at all. We've covered this shit ad nauseum on this channel, and it's a brand new day. We need to get over a lot of this shit, and this movie is over a lot of this shit. This movie is focused on being entertaining. Yep. It's focused on being fun. That character is in no way annoying. Simply put, it's not the character from the comic. It's a younger version who is a blank slate of a character. Yep. Let's be honest. The character reads. You could have put Spider-Man in that role. You could have, like a young Peter Parker's relationship with Doctor Strange in Infinity War reads just like Peter Parker or America Chavez and Doctor Strange in this movie. And in no way is she doesn't take the lead of this movie at all.
No, you barely notice her.
Yeah, you barely notice because she's gone for a decent chunk of the film.
Mhm.
She's not annoying. She doesn't show up anybody. She's got this great power and never once puts anybody in their place. And guess what? Here's one more spoiler. Captain Marvel's in this fucking movie. So be prepared. You'll see Captain Marvel, but not the one you think. But he's just as sassy. And I was so happy that, it's not Brie Larson.
Am I the only one that thought she sounded a little bit more hood than what you would expect? Like,
no,
was
you're right.
Was that a choice?
I don't think so. Well, look the character comes from New Orleans. She had a different draw or a different cadence in that movie. And then No Time to Die, she has her British accent. So I just think it's like the actor trying to go back and pick up an American accent that they never really mastered in the first place. And people are like, who cares?
When they first showed her, I was like, who's this dude? I didn't know it was
Hey, by the way, folks, it's in the trailer. Captain Marvel's in the trailer. So if you didn't know that was Captain Marvel in the trailer, it's literally that shot.
And she's not the most powerful ever. She loses in this one too.
Well, I have things to say about that.
Out of the sky.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'll say this, like, the Chavez America. It bothered me. Nobody was like, "Wait, who named you America?" Like that.
I wondered that too.
It didn't stand out to anybody.
Well, those are questions I had, Matt, about the character when she was introduced a few years back, and when I used to watch those old Captain Cumming and Diversity in Comics videos back in the golden days. Those things were prevalent in Marvel books. I was following them, and I was expecting that, and the fact that I didn't get it, man, blew me away. They have the game. They have her two moms. It's never addressed that they're gay. And I'm pretty sure the only people you see on her planet are the two moms.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So, it could be inferred that it's a planet of all women. Like, this movie is not heavy-handed. I don't need to make excuses for Disney. They have enough bullshit problems going on right now. But we've always been honest with you in our movie reviews, and we always tell you when these movies feature these things. It's not the crux of our channel. We're not going to sit here and go, is it woke? Does it count a quota? No, it's not. It's a fucking Sam Raimi movie. If you go in expecting that, you don't go in to see the movie if you're going to go look for that, because you're going to be angry you don't find it, and you're going to pick apart a really kick-ass movie that has never been replicated visually. God damn it, I said it again. Folks, if you ever read 70s Marvel comics, with the extreme backgrounds and the big floating heads and the dramatic dialogue, they replicated that on film. And it was cool. It wasn't hokey. And you remember, go back and read Avengers #1, folks. There's this famous panel of Loki's eyes floating in the sky, and it looks kind of weird, like, oh, these giant floating eyeballs. It doesn't look cool. Man, they found a way to use the trope of the floating eyes with Wanda, everything. Like, there wasn't a single frame of this movie that wasn't well thought out, from the design work to the fucking demons to the something I'll talk about later, which was a callback to something you never thought you'd see in a Marvel movie. Like, it was exciting to watch this movie. And if you're looking for something that looks nice, something that is such a stark contrast from, the Eternals. Like, this movie is colorful as the Eternals is to brown and gray. Like, everything in this movie looks great. I'm going to stop gushing. What else do you think we should tell the audience about this movie that they need to know?
I'll be honest. Like, I didn't come in. I came in here and be like, man, I'm going to be the one that likes it the most. I liked it the least because I felt like there was pacing issues. There was a lot of kind of lulls there that I was like, that took me out, because now I'm looking at it and thinking of it rather than being in the movie. It didn't last forever. It wasn't long, but there was a few. And I also felt like, one, right off the bat, like, what happens with that first thing? You're like, oh, this is not the kind of movie I thought it was going to be. They don't give a shit. But they also it felt like they were kind of treating the audience as being dumb, because they continuously explain what was going on. Like, oh, now I'm supposed to be this person. You know what I mean? Or this means that. Like, explaining things that any normal person would be able to infer from the context of what's happening, but they still went out of their way to vocalize it.
Well, I think they're trying to introduce a concept that requires a little more nuance, because we're all fans that can understand what a multiverse or what, universes are and stuff. But I do think that is required for people. I'm just going to use somebody like my mom, who likes Marvel, who likes Doctor Strange, would go see this movie, but wouldn't pick up. Like, she would understand that there's multiple versions. I mean, that's something that's a tried and true trope. But I do like how they've gone to great lengths to explain this, because it makes me feel like this is the future of Marvel. And if they didn't take this time, they would really just kind of jump through this and then take us to the next step. I feel like we're setting up for something really big to get as many people on board.
Well, I think that's part of it, but I think, to be very topical with all the pieces with this movie, this is the Evil Dead of the Marvel universe. Like this, Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness or whatever, it's not an indie movie, but this reminds you why Marvel's the biggest property right now. Period.
Yep.
Like it's formulaic, but it's like, this is why it works. Like this will, if they decide, in a couple of years, if they were to ever say, yeah, finally, if people were to openly admit, Captain Marvel wasn't good, Black Widow wasn't good, all the Disney Plus stuff isn't good, they would be like, yes, this is a Marvel movie. It's by the numbers, but by someone who gets it. And
wait,
Sam Raimi was the fucking guy to make this movie. It is the Evil Dead of the Marvel universe. Like it's good. Like it's good.
Oh man, that's way too high a praise for me to be comfortable with. Again, I had moments that I really did enjoy, but there was also moments like at one point out loud, I'm like, I fucking hate these kids. Like, just couldn't.
You mean Wanda's kids?
Yes, I fucking hated them.
Oh, that's because he doesn't get it.
I've never wished death on kids in movies as quickly as I did in this one.
Wanda, you don't even have children. How many times was that line uttered in this film?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I
like
that,
funny. But I get, but you're not wrong. That's what makes it so good. You're not wrong. Like they even if you were to have a movie where it's like this is the movie you make to get out to people who this is still a comic book movie. Like I got a lot of vibes from this movie that I got from Daredevil, the Daredevil movie, where it's like it's Daredevil, but it's not Daredevil. Like this is Marvel. It's Marvel, but it's not Marvel.
Right.
Like this is this is one of the movies. This is the bridge where the bootlickers will love it, and the hardcore fans could really love this movie.
I got the kids part. Those are the parts that I cried at.
Yes,
because I'm a sap.
This. Even the soccer moms could like this movie.
I also
play soccer?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I also felt like almost 80% of the jokes fell flat for me. Like
I didn't think this was a funny movie.
No, they tried though.
Did they?
It's as funny as the thing is funny. Like there are funny moments, but it wouldn't make me laugh.
Yeah, there were a couple moments where I kind of giggled, but there was some jokes you could see them trying to be funny. I'm like, that's not Raimi. Like who put that shit in here?
Well, look, there's Kevin Feige involvement, but
yes,
this movie has more of an identity of Sam Raimi than parts of the Spider-Man movies don't. I mean, they're Spider-Man movies first. They always need to be Spider-Man films before a Sam Raimi movie. But this is a Doctor Strange story that is very, very much a Sam Raimi movie.
Yes.
That's so cool. But it doesn't mean it's above criticism. I'm with you. I do have issues with the film. No Marvel film, no film is perfect. Even the original, Star Wars there's not a lot of issues with Star Wars, but
Miami
digress.
Connection.
Beverly Hills Cop. Terminator 2.
Yep.
Hard Target.
Die Hard. I'm gonna stop picking movies that I don't think have any issues. Okay? I just get so happy when Hans Gruber, dude, Aliens. Oh, I told you though, I have changed. I used to be Team Aliens, now I'm Team Alien, but I like them both.
Ooh.
I think that's the benefit of you seeing it so late in your life.
For the first time?
It's like you and what other movie? Lethal Weapon. It's like you and Lethal Weapon, where you weren't into it when we were into it, but as an adult, you're like, yeah, that's a good ass movie. That's Aliens is that.
Lethal Weapon 1 through all of the Lethal Weapons are awesome for what they are. Those types of action movies, they all tell a competent story that's fun, over the top, and really creates a lot of great action tropes. They didn't make a single bad one. I want to create an extra show, Dion, where we debate what's the best shit instead of what's the worst shit. I feel like Lethal Weapon 1 versus Lethal Weapon 2 is an age-old debate that you and I can have.
It shouldn't be.
Really?
I think Lethal Weapon 2 is the lesser of all of the entire series for me. I'm a huge Shane Black fan. I love Shane Black's work. I thought the Nice Guys and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I mean, those are two of my favorite movies. I'm a big noir guy too. But I felt Lethal Weapon 2 was the least engaging for me, except for a diplomatic immunity.
It's just been revoked.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that wins me back over.
So here on the channel, we've talked about, at least with Kendo and Nick for sure, about Beverly Hills Cop 2 and how Kendo and Nick both enjoy that. The story picks up with Axel, Taggart, and Rosewood already being friends. I really like the familial element of Lethal Weapon. Like, I think that's why I like it so much, because it's this great action movie, but the family doesn't suck. They're fun. I like all the kids, you know. I'm there for their stories, even when they're protesting tuna and all this shit. Lethal Weapon 1, I have to watch Riggs, my bad. Riggs become a part of that family. I like it when he's already a part of the family. Plus Joe Pesci, man. I fucking love Leo Getz. He's great.
Okay. Yeah, let's go.
One vote.
Listen, and you know how much I love 3. If we're saying the least, you know, objectively, 3 is probably the least of those movies. I don't get that from Doctor Strange, man. I think Doctor Strange is the Lethal Weapon of the Marvel movies, where it's like it's good, like it's a good movie. Like there are issues. Everyone's gonna find issues with this movie, even the people that are looking for them. But it's a good movie. Like it is. Like this is why Marvel's the property right now.
Oh yeah, I had an interesting talk on the way back though. Somebody said this movie to them would be truly great if it was a unique thing, but because it's told in Marvel, it just seems like a middling movie. But overall, they still enjoyed it. What do you think about that opinion?
I mean, it's not wrong. I just. It doesn't give it enough credit. I think that type of that opinion doesn't give it the credit that it does deserve. Like this is, this is this era's Civil War. Like I would say that Doctor Strange is on the same level as Civil War, where it's underappreciated, but it's still really good.
What is happening? What?
I don't know. I think
Dion, my man.
Just saying.
I don't know, man. Like, I like some of it. I mean, and I loved the horror. I'm not a horror guy at all. I do not care for horror at all. But
boo, nobody's perfect.
Well, I mean, The Thing is my favorite, but for various reasons. But like, the girlfriend makes me watch it all the time. Oh, anyway. But like, I jumped. Like it really did. They had a couple of jump scares that got me. I'm like, damn it, you son of a. You know what I mean? I was just upset more with myself for falling for it. But the Carrie callback was whatever her name is, Elizabeth Owen Wilson, whatever. I don't know her name.
Was it Olsen?
Yeah, amazing job in this. Wow, like her acting in it was by far the best performance in this movie. Was hers.
Yes. Agreed with that, 100%.
Well, y'all know, like, I'm not the biggest fan of having women in my movie unless they get fridge. You know what I mean?
That's going to explain a lot of your opinions.
But
no, look,
saying,
I enjoy a good Green Lantern reference as much as the next guy, and I don't think you're wrong about certain things. I mean, Kyle Rayner's girlfriend was just insufferable.
Like that's my biggest compliment for America Chavez. Is weird even saying it. Like I didn't mind her not being fridged.
I didn't mind her at all. I wish Marvel could have learned this. I wish Star Wars could have learned how to introduce these types. If you have to have these types of characters in your films, learn how to introduce them in a way to show the message is that everyone's the fucking same. Because isn't that the point that you put people from different walks of life in movies so that everybody goes to see these movies and you make more money? But the moral of the story is always, let's change and make people feel different or look different or be different. It's like, you guys, Disney, you tried to make Star Wars more progressive somehow. And then you're like, we're going to make a black guy the lead, but then we make him a janitor. Like, I get you wanted to make a joke, terrible joke. Like undoes everything you're shooting for. So don't really shoot for that kind of stuff unless you're going to follow through. Like you always say, Dion, if you believe it all the time. Am I right?
Right. Like to that point, if Star Wars had made this movie like The Force Awakens, it would be a very good movie. Like this movie like doesn't it does those things that aren't always so offensive, and that's I think that's what makes it so good, is that it's trying to tackle that type of bullshit without being so heavy-handed.
It also has kind of the same problem that we see with like Eternals, right? Like where are all these wizards coming from? Where the hell they been?
But it does what Eternals couldn't do. That I think that's the thing. Like I think that's why we heard so much about it, was because Eternals was doing it the wrong way. Like if you could make all those decisions and make the wrong ones,
right?
That was Eternals.
I'm just saying, like it felt like Wong had like an entire army with him in like like an endless supply of wizards, man. Even at the end, you're like, wait, are they recruiting? Who's in charge of this?
We saw the ancient one in Doctor Strange 1 train all those people. Those are just the people. That's where Doctor Strange trained. Excuse me.
But I mean, they weren't active until like I guess in Endgame they came out of one of the little swirly thing. I don't know what it's called. The ring of
one of the portals,
transporting, and but like. They don't show up for anything else. They get showed up for that little bit. Like,
but that's their part.
It's a massive, the size of that and the abilities and the power that they possess for them not to be involved in anything that's happening on their own planet.
But that's the point of the movie, is that you have you don't question that with Endgame, do you?
Wait, what's that?
So you believe that an entire army showed up to fight Thanos in Endgame, right? Like that, in the way that the story was told, you were like, yes, this is a massive army. Like you're okay with that part, right?
What? Yeah.
So that's the same concept with this one. It's like, hey, we're all magicians. We're all part of the Sanctum Sanctorum. Like this is all of our thing. This is the army that we could, and that's what the stakes are.
Oh,
so
no, that doesn't bother me. It bothers me they are so inactive in everything else that happens on the planet, other than that one scene in Endgame, right at the end, and then now this movie.
But isn't that an indictment of those other films?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm in MC. This isn't a knock for this movie specifically. It's a knock at the way that they handled the MCU with. They introduced these things that are, would be very useful in other situations that we have seen happen, and they have been around for, but just didn't feel like getting involved because they weren't thought up yet.
But that's the same problem with the Eternals and all these other, like it's a Marvel problem. Marvel is not devoid of any of its issues. The one thing I wanted to say about this movie is I will never compare it to Civil War. What I'll do is I'll compare it to, what I'm trying to get at is we have a lesser level of Marvel characters now. We don't have Iron Man, Captain America. Thor's off doing his own thing. He'll be back eventually. We're in this really weird transitional period, and it hasn't been good. The MCU, dude, Phase 4, that's what we're in, right? This is Phase 4. I have not.
Yeah.
You're right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have not liked a lot of Phase 4. I thought Black Widow was forgettable. It was better than Eternals, which is the worst thing Marvel's ever produced. But then there's Shang-Chi, and that movie wasn't memorable either.
Didn't finish it.
you didn't. I dozed off through part of it and don't care to ever go back and watch it again. They're dealing with the lesser heroes now. The only thing that's refreshing about Doctor Strange is he's as integral to the old heroes, the good ones, because he's just as instrumental in defeating Thanos as anyone else. So, like, he really does read as that old guard. But outside of that, you don't have a lot of the old guard. Going back and going to watch this movie, and then I'd watch Spider-Man earlier in the week. Marvel knows where it's going. I don't necessarily like where it's going to end up. I don't want rehashed versions of Captain America. I don't know what Thor is anymore. But for what's left, this is the best you're going to get. We've seen the Fantastic Four now. We know where they are in multiple timelines. We'll talk about in the spoilers part. Because if you pay close attention, we've learned a decent amount of what Marvel's doing in an interesting way. And I can't wait to talk about the actual Fantastic Four spoiler, not the one everybody already knows, because that's the telling part. So, yeah. What else is there to say before we get into spoilers and stuff? Because
this is, I just think that this one is of this era where Marvel's getting it all wrong. This is going to be the movie where everyone goes like, "That's the good one of that era." Like this is going to be.
But But you know what? I agree with you. I don't think people are going to pick up on this one until much further down the road. I think this is one of those movies that's going to come out, do its thing, blah, blah, blah. And not only people are going to talk about it, but it'll be like, wow, that really was unique and different.
Yeah.
And I'd never
after we get some more bad ones for sure.
I agree that right now this is the front runner for being the best of this phase. However, it fails in comparison to all three of the previous phases. And
not going to disagree
in the quality.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. Absolutely.
Not disagreeing. My very high praise of its artistic merit doesn't actually reflect the score. Now, I do make people wait till the end of everything to give a number. So, folks, if you want to really hear the number, you have to listen through the spoilers till the end of the show. Because, come on, man. Got to keep them hooked somehow.
And we're also going to be using my made-up scale that I came up, like the Dark Fate to Empire scale. Excited.
I am too. That's the way of the future. It's the number one most reliable metric in film scoring in America today.
What did you feel about Danny Elfman's score? I loved his score for 2/3 of the movie.
Not memorable enough to realize that Danny Elfman did it, because Michael Giacchino's Doctor Strange score is awesome. He did some wonderful. Michael Giacchino is one of the best working composers today. His Batman score was great. Doctor Strange, his work on Star Wars was excellent. That Imperial theme he came up with was not nearly as great as the first, the Imperial March, but God, it's almost as good as some of these classic Star Wars themes. So the dude is the gold standard, in my opinion. Danny Elfman is one of the all-time greats. I would never try to question that. But a lot of times when you get these follow-up superhero movies, you're continuing a score. I liked that. I thought the piano parts were unique, and that the chords that they used to bring in Wanda, like the atmosphere of the music was second to none. I've never felt that in a
That's what stood out to me. In fact, that was probably like the thing that stood out with for me from Danny Elfman was the score with Wanda when she's going cuckoo bananas, like full tilt. That score was awesome. But once they started, and we'll talk about it more later, but once that 80s action flick guitar came out of nowhere, I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, I forgot about that part.
I'm like, what is this? Oh, they're going to keep doing this.
This movie reads... Well, actually, this movie just feels like they have put effort on every level. It's not as corporate cut and dry as literally everything else in this phase, including Spider-Man, which I have purchased and liked. I was excited for Spider-Man because it's Spider-Man, my favorite character. Doctor Strange has never been a character I've liked. Never bought a book, never bought an action figure, never did anything besides buy a movie ticket. I've liked what they've done on film with him.
Well, No Way Home, I think I categorize it a little bit different because I know there's people like, well, actually, no, Kevin Feige, this and that. Like, it felt like Sony did something different than the MCU. Does that make sense?
It does.
I think so. I think it makes sense, but I think this movie is if those people got it right. Like, that's the praise I'm giving it. It's. I think you're not unwarranted in your view. You have a point, and you have a point because this movie was so this is I would never say it's one of the best of Marvel ever, but it's like one of those where you're like, yeah, it's good. Like it's a good one. It's when especially as Marvel continues to get into certain arenas that they have no business in. This is of this era when we look back, they're gonna say the Multiverse of the Madness was the one good one that they made of this era for sure.
I agree.
It's like Rogue One, but but I'll say this though, like
Yeah,
Rogue
perfect.
One, you gotta let the emotional high wear off, because I went to Rogue One,
Yes.
and that's going to be this movie too. There's definitely going to be the cooling off period, but we'll get into spoilers so we can actually talk about the story and the plot. We're being very vague, so we don't, whatever. But like, it's time to get into that shit so people do know, because this movie, I don't know where it doesn't really fall apart in writing at all. It doesn't have these major plot holes. I never once scratched my head and went, what the fuck? I liked the characters. They do multiversal stuff tends to feel cold and impersonal. If you want to critique the fact that all the multiversal versions have a connection, you can, but it also makes that much more interesting because they can have an actual connection. There's a part in the film where Doctor Strange has to talk to a dark version of himself, and he has to prove that it's him by telling the story of his sister's death.
Yes.
And that was cool, and that it does enough to explain how connected each multiverse version of each character will be. They all have.
I have so many problems with it.
All right, let's start talking about it.
Well, I mean, there's a Loki alligator, for fuck's sake. How does that work? How can you be you in different universes, but in one universe you turned out to be an alligator?
I use that criticism on the show of Loki. That just because Loki came out first chronologically doesn't mean Loki did it better. I don't think nothing that is presented a multiverse in Marvel has done it as well as Doctor Strange, in my opinion. I thought
Loki fucks this movie as well. Loki fucks every movie because of the King. Like, well, if they don't do what King wants, then they're going to continuously restart and destroy your part of the timeline and make you do it again and again until you get the lesson that you're going to get melted if you don't do it the way King wants you to do it. So everything happens the way it's supposed to happen because Kang said so. Loki fucked any chance the MCU had of the multiverse.
Loki is a show that is folded in upon itself. I don't like it in hindsight because my critique, the one that really made me look at the whole show, was the fact that Loki changes because he just watches the clip or whatever. Yeah. Like something so small changes that character. Marvel has a big problem where they like to undo what has been done for the sake of a joke or the sake of something quick and easy. I wish people held themselves to like the standard, like, well, we wrote it, it has to follow canon. Like, I don't get why that's a problem.
I was shocked that the dude did a better job writing this than he did Loki. Because I mean, it's the same guy, and he barely has any credits to his name. I'm like, wow. Considering it was him writing it, not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is that movie.
Still problems that we can get into.
Agreed.
So the movie starts out with Doctor Strange, an alternate Doctor Strange called Defender Strange, and America Chavez, and they're fleeing in the space between the universes. And they're trying to get the Book of Ashanti. Yeah.
Can check the private chat real quick?
Yeah.
Before we get into spoilers?
Yeah, sure. Darian217 asked, let's see. Kira Hogan and Diamante have opened up an OnlyFans account. What other All Elite stars or entertainment brand stars are you holding out the hope see or open up an OnlyFans? Dion, answer first. Also, Nikita Lyons on that list. Well, Dion has to answer first.
Oh, if I got to answer first, fuck. If I got to say a star that I want to see, I got to say Sigourney Weaver to answer some questions up in this motherfucker.
I don't watch AEW myself. I'm going to start because we're going to be doing our own commentary for it. But it's a whole thing. But I don't watch it. I'm like, I really should give it a chance, but I haven't.
I will. I mean, Nikita Lyons is on that list, Darian, for sure. I don't know what else to say besides, I'm trying to think of a non-wrestling woman that I'd want to see. Since Dion went with Sigourney Weaver, I wouldn't join Sigourney Weaver's OnlyFans unless she would tell me like behind the scenes making of Aliens shit. Like, I would actually support Sigourney Weaver on OnlyFans just to hear behind the scenes content.
Oh, I should have listened more to the question. I thought it was just like what AEW wrestler chick.
Well, it says or entertainment brand stars. So, Sigourney Weaver is the entertainment brand star of Predator or Alien and Avatar now.
I guess Tom Cruise. Now let me explain.
Please.
I want a better view into the cuckoo banana-ness of him in Scientology. Like I get I get all that, right? But I want like his, because like whenever you can get him to talk about it, you're like, what are you saying? What's happening? You know what I mean? I like that crazy side of him, but he doesn't let anyone see it. Come on, tell us about the Thetans, Tom. You're the best marketing Scientology has because you look so good for your age. And it has to be because he's on the e-meter all the time.
Is he electronically stimulating his skin and like keeping it fresh and all that stuff?
Oh man, Jeff, you don't know anything.
With the souls of little Catholic boys.
The e-meter is to help like get you clear, bro, to get those thetans and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know enough about Scientology.
Oh, it's
a
fascinating thing. But yeah, so that would be my choice.
I know to stay away.
Yeah. I'm not easily influenced. I know that sounds like it. Like, okay, Army Hammer. Now, if I eat a pinky toe and it gives me abs like him, would I do it? Maybe. Because he's a cannibal.
I get it.
No,
I forgot about that guy.
He's
not my favorite.
He's not my favorite cannibal, Dion.
No, calm down over there.
I loved him in what was that spy movie he did?
Oh, The Man from Uncle.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that movie.
Same. That's what convinced me Henry Cavill should play 007.
Oh, dude. I love Henry Cavill. I think he is the shining light of Hollywood. That dude is so like down to earth. You know what I mean? Like when they announced he was gonna be Geralt, I'm like, hashtag not my Geralt. But the first time he goes, Roach, I'm like on board. Love it.
Nice.
Wish he could have been in his own show. That would have been awesome.
One day, maybe. One day.
What was I supposed to answer? Did I get it?
Did you answer a celebrity you'd support her OnlyFans?
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
Yeah, you did. So then you did answer the question.
Good
to go, man. I would ask you to share all the information you learned from his OnlyFans. I don't want to pay for it, but I definitely want to learn.
I would be blogging about it.
What about vlogging? You should do a cross-country road trip where you just tell the stories. Like, I'm at the Grand Canyon. I'm going to tell you why Tom Cruise left Scientology in 1994 for a week. Like, shit like that. So I would sign up. I'd listen. That's some advice, Mad. Just do that.
I have thought about e-fapping, but we would call it mad fapping, like the audio tapes from L. Ron Hubbard, because they're insane. They're crazy.
Yep.
Just an idea. Mad fapping. Coming soon.
No.
What?
We should talk about Doctor Strange some more.
Right. You got the Arian's super chat, right?
That was Darian's super chat right there.
Yeah, cool.
But Darian 217, I actually had to look up Kira Hogan for a minute because I was like, hold on, do I know her off the top of my head? I was like, I do, but I had to check her out because I was like, which one is it? By the way, Darian 217, since you're here for a moment, we're talking about AEW. Did you see the game footage? I don't mind the graphics. I'm not really expecting AEW to get WWE 2K level polish. The frame rate was a little scary, and it was a very clunky looking game. So I've heard the rumors about Kenny Omega and how he was displeased with that. And yeah, if that's going to be the final product, I could see why he would be upset. It didn't look professional, but if it plays well, that's all that matters. That's all it needs to do. It needs to play like No Mercy or Day of Reckoning 2, one of those classic titles, and you'll be set. Anything else from non-spoiler territory before we should check? And then
No, I would say go see it. If you've already seen The Northman and that Nicolas Cage movie, then okay, see this one.
Yeah. I'd see Nicolas Cage over Doctor Strange for sure.
Agreed.
That movie was next level.
I haven't
Pedro
seen it yet.
Pascal. Dude, Pedro Pascal stole the show. And Nicolas Cage is still great. Yeah, oh my God. There's a part where they do LSD and drive around the island and basically write a movie. And it's like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I would watch, if Pedro Pascal played this character, I'd watch any movie he's in. He was to climb up the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. That was my favorite movie this year so far.
We're still gotta go see it. I've been watching clips online, and then a lot of memes have been made about it. I'm ready. Like the wall scene so far has made me laugh, and I haven't seen the whole movie yet. Like that part is hilarious. Come on, like it's good.
Yeah.
Is this your internet, Jeff, that's going crazy, or is it mine?
Am I dropping?
What? No, like it went to a different layout, and then like we were moving around, and we have your icons aren't showing for me.
Your icons aren't shown for me.
It looks good. Oh wait, no, it's not showing yours, Khalil.
Yeah, well.
Huh.
But we're live TV, ladies and gentlemen. Fuck,
we're still
Bret
here.
Hart, spit on me.
So let's start by talking spoilers, guys. Mad, what are some of these issues you had that you'd like to get down to?
Oh man. Well, I kind of want to take it from the front, from the start, because like I said, when it started, I'm like, wow, like the CGI, these graphics are like below standard for sure. But then they popped that thing's eyeball out. What?
Yeah,
well, actually, before
that fight was great.
Can somebody explain to me why, when it starts, right, you have America Chavez in whatever version of Strange that was, and they're running, and she starts speaking in Spanish, and he responds in Spanish, right? And then they get start speaking English. I'm like, wait, was that just to tell us that she can speak Spanish?
Yeah, it seemed pointless.
Right. Yeah, having them switch, between English and Spanish. That at the beginning when they're running from the monster, for sure. Yeah, that was kind of pointless. Like you could have just had them speak, like that could have been her thing, or you could have just had her speak English the whole time. You're like, but yeah, I see what you're going with, and yeah, that was the one part of the beginning that I didn't like, but it was still, that beginning was still cool.
It made me nervous for sure.
I thought the eye look that whole fight scene was very fun. Like him being at the wedding and then having to battle the monster. That part, I think that part looked good. Everything going up to it didn't look great.
As soon as I saw that her new husband was black, I went, "Oh, he's never getting her back."
That's pretty good.
That was my first thought.
So I thought that felt like a comic book event. Doctor Strange at a wedding has to fight monster. I'm like,
sure.
All right. The movie never. See, when you said it slowed down for you, I watched that movie, and when we got to the end with the demons, I'm like, this is a 2-hour movie. I never once was bored. I never thought any of it was boring at all. I don't. We'll get to there. When you tell me when you felt the movie slowed down.
Okay, yeah. So like at this point, yeah, everything's good. I like Wong. I like him in this movie. His action was all of the action. You certainly can see like when it transitions from CGI Doctor Strange or Wong to real Wong. Or
dude, it's funny you bring that up. Jessie leaned over to me and she goes, "That looked terrible. Like they used the stunt man that was too skinny or something." And like,
yeah,
like look, those technical things are there, definitely there. Yeah. That's it's weird too, because like they're only at the beginning of the movie, and then like everything amps up. It's not intentional. It's not like we're just gonna put all of our money here in this shot, because you shouldn't have that issue with a Marvel movie.
No,
but it's bizarre how you have like a couple like, oh, this CGI is rough, and then you go to the end of the movie and you're like, wow, this looks like somebody else made it. It's like it felt like somebody else picked up the reins and went on with it.
The best was when the best for me, the best sequence, the best like everything really hit when they were in what was it, 818? I don't know, 83, whatever the fuck the one with the Illuminati was, that right?
Yeah.
That was like, I was like, oh, this is the part that everyone is going to love, because it was creepy. You know what I mean? Like they hit it perfect. The beginning, okay, you're established. All right, America, whatever. Okay, cool. A couple of jokes didn't land for me. I like to Wong Fu thing for everything. You know what I mean? Like I like him a lot. But I don't know, man. Where did the body? How did they know where the body was of the other Doctor Strange? Also,
because when at the beginning when they're running from the monster and he dies after trying to take her ability, he buries him on the roof.
Yeah, I know that, but how did they know where to find the body when they're like, oh, there's another Strange here or whatever. Like, because
she's going back for, she has the girl at that point. She's going back for the book.
yeah, I guess that, I mean, he was on top of a building, but she landed somewhere else. But then after they defeat the monster, they were able to go and find the body on top of the building. It's not that big of a deal. But what did bother me, and this happened a few times, was like there were moments where like they had no urgency to do what they had to do. Like when the other Strange in America were fighting that demon or whatever to get to the book in the beginning, like they were so slow in trying to get over there. Like they're waiting to be attacked by the demon before they make a decision that, okay, now we should try to go get it. And also, I'm pretty sure Doctor Strange was stabbed through the heart because it came out the front of his fucking chest, but he was still able, last minute magic.
Wait, what part again?
The very beginning.
But he dies.
That's right. But
he's right. He dies. So he's getting hit through the chest. That dude dies.
Yes, he does. But no, after he gets stabbed in the chest, though, he still has enough life in him to throw a few more magic things so she can escape.
Well, yeah.
I don't know if I don't know what multiverse area that was. If chest worked different, but I feel like that giant thing going through the middle of his chest, like.
I mean, that's a picky thing.
But,
I mean, you're not wrong, but
no,
I think,
but it happens.
That's you can forgive that in this type of a movie.
You're right. If it was that one thing, but like it starts adding up as the movie goes along. Like, wait, hold the fuck on. Why are y'all just standing there staring at this barrier door or whatever, waiting on Wanda to make it through there? Keep going. Why are you waiting on her?
Oh, you mean in the tunnel?
Yes.
Wasn't it? I thought it was kind of dumb, but wasn't it all meant to be just to trap her under where the water was, so then they could break the one part of the roof and really get her?
They could have already broken, just kept going. Like, I feel like they would have been better served moving with a little urgency. Then when he gets to the book, he's like, I'm going to slowly walk up to this book. I'm going to slowly reach out for this book.
I think it's just that's a little bit picky. I mean, that's a little bit of a picky.
Again, and I would agree if it was in single, like if it was like, oh, well, this one thing, right? But that's what I felt like. Like as I'm watching it, I keep seeing them like waiting for the next thing to happen rather than it happening.
I don't feel like we watched the same movie because it didn't stop from after he goes to the fucking wedding and you watch him lose Rachel McAdams. Then this giant tentacle creature attacks him, and then they rip its eyeball out, which was cool. It was violent, awesome. It was bloody. Yeah, and then it just keeps going. Like they're constantly on the go. Not many Marvel movies just keep going. Like, the Wanda stuff. Here's the thing: I don't think this movie is the Spider-Man 2 of whatever. But outside, I think the Wanda stuff is where I would have issues because I don't care anymore. WandaVision. This is my MCU problem, one of many. WandaVision burnt me out on that fucking angle of Westlake and their kids and this and that. And like every time Doctor Strange would say, Wanda, you don't have children. It's like, break through the delusion. Find a different way to make her more delusional. Like her motivation was, I get it, noble. She wants to have her kids. The way they defeated her was awesome because they made her into the villain. That was well written. Like, would you say what?
It's the same problem that we've seen over and over again in the MCU when it comes to female villains. They're never allowed to be beaten by anyone but themselves, or like in Ragnarok, right? Like the big thing, the story of the whole world.
It's not a female Marvel thing though, because even though this is an MCU, the Punisher does the exact same thing to Howard Saint. That's the beauty. I don't care if it's male or female. My favorite I'll just use the Punisher because I can't think of another one. The hero makes the villain play themselves essentially. By the one moment America Chavez had where she did anything was when she punched through the dimension. I don't think she had the wherewithal to know what she was doing. It was kind of like whatever, but it was a good moment to make those kids become afraid of Wanda. That way Wanda could never win. The dimension, the thing that she always wanted to fight for and that she was willing to kill hundreds, thousands, trillion people for, like she destroyed it. That was cool. I wasn't worried about the woman didn't get whatever because we watched Captain Marvel die. What's her face? Fucking Captain Britain got cut in half. Like
Yeah.
Hallie Atwell, folks, the Captain Britain, the one from the cartoon, What If? She's in the movie and she gets sliced in half by her fucking shield. Like Mr.
Yes,
Incredible,
that was fucking
not Mr.
awesome.
Incredible, Mr. Fantastic gets turned to fucking spaghetti ribbons. Like they
Hit-
all get murdered. Like
Right.
murdered. Professor X gets his neck snapped. It's awesome. Like they're going for it. Now it's this is where I have the issue though. None of this shit matters. That's
Exactly,
why I
yeah.
complain about the writing. I can have a good time, but this doesn't matter. And I really have an issue with the lack of impact because as a fan, I felt excited to go to the next chapter because they were going to fight. Even if you didn't give a shit about Thanos, what's Iron Man going to do next? What's this character going to do next? They've written themselves a fun film that I really, really liked, but they've also written themselves into a corner in the MCU where it's like, what's next? Well, literally, this is how this movie treats it flippantly, folks. In the credit sequence, what happens? Charlize Theron appears out of nowhere. She's bald. She slices a hole in reality, and she goes, "We gotta fix it." And Doctor Strange goes, "Okay," and jumps through a time. Like,
Well, she's not bald, but
Yeah, I don't think she was bald, bro. Like
she wasn't
that threw me
bald?
off too. No,
Oh, wait,
dude,
she
she
had,
had
she had,
hair.
she had hair and shit.
The character in the comic is bald. My bad. Because we looked her up. I was like, "Oh, it's what's her face, Ula or not Ula." She's a character from Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange eventually marries her.
Yep.
Okay, one thing.
Oh, yeah,
Wanda was
faster,
defeated. Like it was the same ending as Secret of the Use. She
remind me,
defeated
who's
herself.
gonna
So at the end they hit Shredder with like the key guitar and like he flies through and then they're. In fact, if you want to share the video, I have a special little treat. It's like 14 seconds. Wanda.
You gotta listen to reason! Yeah. You're gonna destroy us all!
Poor Kevin Nash. He tore a quad.
That's what happened to Wanda.
I mean, yeah,
I'm
not wrong.
Yeah, but hold on though, man. We're talking about two separate moments though, because you're talking about when she gets crushed by the rocks. Yeah, that's when she dies. She doesn't.
Right.
That's not when she's defeated though. She's defeated when those kids see her as the monster. That's the interesting part. I agree that her getting crushed by the fucking rock, she kills herself, folks. Oh, she's depressed. What does she do? I lost it. So she, wherever they were, whatever magical place, she drops the building on herself. I'm not disagreeing that isn't the same kind of scene, but like realistically, it's more interesting to watch the character like become she's the hero of her own story. She thinks she's doing the thing to get what she wants, and she takes it away from herself. I thought that was more impactful. Like
you're absolutely right. Like I will concede to that. That was when she was defeated, and I did enjoy that. Like
now,
is Matt hating on this movie?
No.
Okay, I just wonder.
But he doesn't like it as much as Dion and I do. But
that's fine. I'm here. I was just here to put him in his place in case. You know. I was actually here to tell you we're gonna get Chinese food and to.
Hi, Jesse.
What's up, man? How's it going?
It's going great. It's going great.
That's good. I'm very glad to hear that. When are we going to do our Schindler's List watch party?
No. Or you mean
this November? Awesome. I'm there.
November? Okay. It's for my birthday? Cool. Thank you.
Are we going to name it Two Jews and a Gentile?
Two Jews and a Gentile. I mean, what's wrong with that name? That sounds it's very honest, right?
I agree.
Yeah. Honesty is the best policy. Dion's here too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dion, what's up, my man?
What's up?
How are you?
I'm very good. We were just talking about the Doctor Strange movie.
It's good. I enjoyed it. I was a fan. I liked the fact that Sam Raimi looked at this movie and was like, you know what? I can do literally whatever I want with it. Also, there are no stakes because they ruined the universes, so there are no stakes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to literally do whatever I want. There are no stakes? Cool. So you mean I can kill any Avenger that I want to on screen? Let's do it.
It was fun.
Hooray.
Yeah.
Now, I enjoyed the fact that, again, Captain Carter got cut in half. Captain Marvel, she was the only one that didn't get the death she deserved. I thought she should have had everyone else got a violent, gory death. Nobody else, like Captain Marvel got hit and then something crashed and landed on her, and then you saw her hand. I was waiting for her to come back and like stop Wanda. That's when if that shit would have happened, I would have been out of this movie. No matter how interesting it would have been. If you would have pulled that level of shit, the shit you would have pulled in earlier MCU phases, or the shit you put on TV, like I don't know where certain areas of people, or where people got conditioned with the shit on TVs like that much deeper. Like, look, I'll give Moon Knight a shot. I have nothing to say about it because I can't. I haven't watched it. But the other shit that I've watched on Disney Plus, those shows have not been that good or held up to any kind of metric. That's what these Marvel shows are. They're whose line is it anyway? We've reached the point where they don't matter. They've made Disney enough money to where it doesn't matter what they're going to do. You can still have a fun time. Clearly, I had a fun time watching Doctor Strange. The movie looked great. It's like if you like 1970s comic books and you like The Evil Dead, Doctor Strange becomes a deadite in the zombie at the end of this movie. Fight.
That was insane.
Yes.
Dude, like, that's where I'm like, if people are shitting on this movie because they don't know anything about it, you're really robbing yourself of some of the coolest Doctor Strange, Sam Raimi, zombie, interdimensional demons. It's a horror movie at times. It's scary. It's violent. It's gory. Like, this could have been an R-rated flick with like 2 or 3 more changes. Like, I'm surprised that this is a marketable Marvel movie for kids that is this violent.
I'm surprised they didn't drop. I'm surprised nobody said fuck. Like,
it was a step away from that.
Dude, when I don't know his name, Black Bolt.
I forgot he was in that.
What the fuck was that, dude?
That was awesome.
The dude next to me. Awesome. Dude, it freaked the dude out. Like the guy next to me started freaking out. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like,
yeah, I took my kid to this movie, and DT was like, "I'm gonna be sick." Like that was an adult moment.
It was scary enough. Like his mouth was like shut or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not Thunderbolt, is it? Was I wrong on his name?
No, it's Black Bolt.
Well, whatever.
He's one of the Inhumans.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm like, oh man, that's creepy. And then just like, oh, that explode like that. Okay, it has to come out somehow. I can come out the side of his skull.
Well, let's talk about that scene because we keep jumping around. We keep talking about things. Let's talk about this Illuminati scene. Now, folks, long story short, Doctor Strange and America Chavez jump through dimensions. Now, I would like to address the worst writing decision in this movie, the laughable one. America Chavez, quote unquote, kills her mothers because a bee scares her and she can't control her emotions. Now, if we want to attack writing, here I am. I am the first person in line. Sign me up. A bumblebee? I get it. Its emotional response is supposed to trigger that. But I'm watching a movie where they're fighting demons and zombies, and we're watching Thanos with an axe through his head and alternate dimensions and shit. A bumblebee is fucking stupid. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, but a bee would scare a kid. It's a bee. It's dumb.
Maybe she's allergic.
Give us something cooler.
That was for me. That was the worst part of the movie. Was where it's like, so we're supposed to believe that this little girl who's Harriet the fucking Spy's age, she grows up to be like a teenager. Like that was very like, fucking Willy Wonka of Marvel. It was the worst part of the movie by far.
They could at least use snakes. I mean, everyone hates snakes.
Or just make her older. Like that was just like making her so young. It's just like, this is a fucking Jurassic Park.
Well, yeah, because if you sit down and you're like, wait a minute, she was a little kid when she lost her moms and transported somewhere. How the hell has she been making? Who bought these clothes for her?
How does she know the concept of money? Like I'm like, she's so young. She's running around. Her mom's like, hey baby. She's like, oh fuck, what's up? Yeah, fuck. Bee! Like that. The type of person who's that scared of bees is like a toddler. Like, and how does she grow up to be where she can have conversation with multiple people? It's like, no, like that's just silly as fuck. That's like Three Ninjas silly.
Three Ninjas kick back at Mega Mountain Star and Pee Wee Herman as Tum Tum.
Great
was
movie,
he adopted?
You're like, yeah, this little kid couldn't do all this shit.
No. I don't like. She's my least favorite character in the movie. The movie doesn't keep her at the forefront, though. I'd say Wong has more of a story than she does. I mean, I get she's the focal point of the dimension hopping, but in terms of who gets more screen time, Wong is the second most important character in the film, and he's great too. Like he's got fun moments. Yeah, he's the best Wong's ever been. I mean, this also represents a decline in quality because before we were arguing how cool Captain America and Thor and Iron Man, like, all these big heavy hitters, the Incredible Hulk. There was a point where Hawkeye was the butt of the joke because he was the C-list character on the team type of thing.
Never
now
agreed with
all the characters are C-listers these days. And so I do have to temper expectations with what I'm watching because, you know, we had something better in the past. And I'm never going to give these movies a pass because it's the best they can give us or the best they will give us. I just I don't know. I don't know.
I think that the dude that's playing Wong is a far better actor, especially has a lot more experience than the America Chavez. Because I wouldn't be surprised if she does have more screen time, but she's in the background to such a degree that you don't. I forgot she was even hanging around, but I did appreciate she stood back and let Dr. Strange and Wong take care of the eyeball monster, and you know what I mean. Like whenever action was going on,
she didn't become the accident. Like she wasn't. Like my worry was there was going to be that type of character, and it was going to be the Rey of Marvel.
Oh God, yeah,
yeah, and that was a legitimate fear that both you and I had. It didn't do that. Like she's a part of the story, but she's not the reason why. The hero is the hero of the movie. Like it's not. Like how fucking Rey became Rey. It didn't become a Star Wars story. And
it was Rey Skywalker.
Yes, exactly. Right.
No, you get more time with Doctor Strange and his coping with the loss of Christine than Doctor Strange gets all the stuff he needs addressed.
Exactly.
Well, I was expecting them with the whole "Are you happy?" thing. Like I'm like, well, the obvious beat or whatever the conclusion would be find happiness like in the day and the moments rather than expecting something to come in. Like don't postpone your happiness, right? Because they're like, man, if only I had Christine, then I'd be, you know what I mean? But they kind of just leave it like Wong's just like, I imagine I am happy as another multiverse, and that makes me. I didn't get
that's
like what.
But that's the thing that Marvel characters carry with them across any medium. It's this weird. It's the guilt Spider-Man carries. It's this thing. The Marvel heroes do. The stories tend to end more melancholy for some of these people. They realize that the reward is the action and the satisfaction of saving the day, and they're just kind of like, I'll deal without it. And no, that one doesn't bother me because Doctor Strange isn't meant to be. What really colored a lot of people's perception is Iron Man. Everyone expects everything to be more like Iron Man, and I have an issue with Iron Man, how he didn't really pay for his crimes until the end, which was fine. I'm glad it eventually happened, but.
Right.
I like watching these heroes that just don't go home happy and complete because it makes me want to watch more of them. Like Spider-Man, I went back and rewatched No Way Home. He's good. He's in a good place. I'm excited to see where he goes.
Oh,
but if I
Andrew Garfield stole that movie. Andrew Garfield stole that movie for me.
Has he been charged with any crimes yet?
Oh goodness. Andrew Garfield was the standout performance in that movie for me.
And I think it's very interesting hearing that, especially because, like, that's why I like No Way Home so much. Like, that's the movie that's the bridge between Jeff and I's generation and your generation. Like, people will be like, yeah, Andrew Garfield. Like, for us, Tobey Maguire is Spider-Man. Like, that's why I love that movie so much. And I think this Doctor Strange movie is going to be that same movie between the shitty Marvel and if Marvel eventually becomes good once they're done with the whole Miss Marvel thing, this will be the bridge movie. Like this was the movie where we can all agree was like, yep, this is a good one. This is a good one.
I don't know if Marvel can make a great movie anymore.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that 100% because they probably have blown their wad with Infinity War.
If Sony's doing it, I would have more faith. Like I feel like a lot of people have like that same kind of view. Like I asked my girlfriend, I was like, hey, when Boba Fett came out, I was like, you want to watch it? She said, did Sony do it? No. Then no, I don't want to watch it. She lost faith in Disney's Marvel and Star Wars like entirely.
Yeah, let's not jump to act like Sony's been the bastion of quality films all the time. I mean, look,
you're 100% right.
They made thing is, Sony is solely responsible for the Amazing Spider-Man movies, which, yeah, you might like Andrew Garfield. Those movies fucking ruined Spider-Man. Everyone acts like they were great and people shit on them unjustly. No, they came out, they made their money. People didn't like them. They didn't make more because they weren't in demand. They weren't that great. They were the main criticism. The main criticism that nobody wants to address was The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is not really that good. It's not a complete movie. It's focused on giving us a Sinister Six and 10 other sequels. That's Sony. They're all that shit. Look, just like today, anybody can get a movie right eventually. Marvel finally made a good one in Phase 4, and Sony is finally on a string of good movies. I like Venom. I like No Way Home. Venom 2, I liked fine. Like, those, but Morbius, fuck Morbius. Like, no one is 100%. No one is 100%. And if you want to take a percentage base, I guess Universal probably has done it the best, right? They had one good Hulk and one bad Hulk movie. Like,
I mean, yeah, if it was baseball, they're at 500.
Yeah, like
yeah, it's a perfect one. It's a 500.
By the way, Andrew Garfield, I think if he was out of those movies, if you know what I mean, like I feel like his performance as Spider-Man what far exceeded the quality of those movies. Like, and to see him in No Way Home, I know this is Doctor Strange, but real quick, to see him in No Way Home, and like, oh man, the pain that he had about like I don't pull my punches anymore. Like, whoa,
that's
like,
a little different.
That got me.
That's a different metric.
Right. That's all I was saying was like I appreciate his character, like his portrayal of Spider-Man. Not so much Peter Parker because he's too pretty. You know what I mean? A little creepy.
Yeah, I mean,
he's too pretty.
When I think Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, I think of Spider-Man riding a skateboard, being the coolest dude in his high school, like showing up late to graduation, like literally everything that Spider-Man had never been. And I will give him credit though. His performance in No Way Home was so good that I cared enough to see his resolution. I cared enough about him in that movie that I'm on board with him in that film. I couldn't in good faith tell you, though, I would watch Amazing Spider-Man 3. I could never tell you in good faith that I'm excited to see more of that universe because I lived through it. Like, I didn't become a Spider-Man fan when Sony or when Marvel picked it back up. I just have been a Spider-Man fan since, God, the early 90s when I learned how to read. And I'm happy where Spider-Man is for the first time in a minute because Spider-Man 3 shit the bed. It was, what it was. And it brought in the new era, which has finally been worked through. I think if I'm going to say anything, if I'm saying anything at all, is the quality of superhero movies just dipped. This is where we are now.
Yeah, agreed.
It's really sad. Yeah. I felt like, maybe we got, a little spoiled on quality, super, like comic book movies, man. Like,
hell yeah.
Think of Logan. Dude, we're not getting another Logan. No, not for a long time.
Good. I mean, not from Disney. That's for damn.
That's what I'm saying. God. Yeah.
No, Disney will never take a true gamble. Disney will do safe things to make the safe money, and that makes them less interesting. The reason I am so interested in this film, though, is they must have just looked the other way for a little bit because Sam Raimi had so much of himself on screen that it felt like an Evil Dead. It shared a universe with Evil Dead. If America Chavez, this is how this movie could have been better. If America Chavez had an emotional response, punched away through reality, and they ended up in Evil Dead 2 or some bullshit like that. Now that would have been fucking cool. But like, other than that, dude, you're like living an Evil Dead superhero movie. It's Deadite, Doctor Strange. And oh my God, folks. So it's really cool because what happens is Doctor Strange has to possess he's sleepwalking is what they call it, right?
No, it's not called sleepwalking.
Dark walking or something?
Dream something. Dreamwalking, yeah.
Okay. Better than dream weaving. But so when he dreamwalks, Doctor Strange he cannot possess. Yeah, thank you. Thought he wouldn't, but you did. But Doctor Strange has to essentially dreamwalk and possess the body of a dead Doctor Strange from another dimension. And like he becomes a zombie. He climbs out of the fucking grave. He like eventually warps to the top of a mountain. He like zombie walks like all decrepit and shit. And he starts doing these like Doctor Strange hand gestures as a zombie. And it's like all choppy and weird and awesome. And then as he like figures out he needs to become one with these evil demons, he starts to like really learn how to control them and gets the fluid motion back. And then he takes all the demons. he like absorbs them, and then he fucking jumps, and they become like a set of wings, and he flies across the screen to fight Wanda. Like, what the hell? Nobody else is doing this shit. Like, this is cool. Dude, this is as cool as when Iron Man was going after that Thanos spaceship, and all of a sudden his legs become the thruster, and he just fucking shoots into outer space. Like,
yes,
like we have been given some of the coolest shit in Marvel, like some of the coolest shit in movies in some of these Marvel movies. But Doctor Strange gave some really cool shit today, and I think that all adds, because film is a visual medium. It's a collaborative effort, and it needs to be judged on the sum of all of its parts. I cannot, in good faith, say any parts of this was god-awful or garbage. It ain't perfect. It ain't a 10 out of 10 movie. I'm not watching one of those. But I'm watching something that's... I don't know what people are expecting out of a review of a movie that doesn't contain a lot of bullshit. It's solid throughout. If you want to be angry about a bad movie, be angry about everything else in Phase 4. Like, literally. And go back and bitch about Loki. Go bitch about the stuff that has the holes and the problems. And just because stuff is like, I complain about Marvel. I think they're on their way out. I don't think there's going to be Phase 6. Oh, they can tell you they got 1,000,001 plans, but what do you think, Matt?
I think I was actually really surprised that I didn't see glaring plot holes in this movie. That was shocking to me, especially if it was written by the dude that did Loki.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay, all right, this is all tracking, right? By the way, I was growing up, I loved Army of Darkness, and the demon things. The way they sounded reminded me of the little ashes that came out.
Yes.
Like, oh man, it triggered something to me hearing them. I'm like,
this movie is if the guy who made Army of Darkness got to make a Marvel movie. Like, it is the Army of Darkness of Marvel.
It is. And it's fun, though, that it's so different because, Dion, you and I have been reading comic books our whole life. Isn't it really shitty when you go pick up 5 Marvel books and they're all kind of the same?
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Isn't it nice when you go pick up 5 different titles, 10 different titles? You don't have to support the beast, folks. Remember, Dion and I are old school Marvel fans before Disney bought them out. We were juniors in college when Disney purchased Marvel. I vividly remember driving to Michigan State the day that happened because my friend called me to tell me the shift. So, there was a golden era in our lifetime, not that long ago, when, it wasn't SJW Marvel. We're coming off of stuff like, I liked Dark Reign. I liked Civil War. I thought Siege was pretty solid. I loved Secret Invasion. I was there for a lot of these big Marvel crossovers. And what I really appreciated about comic books, that's why I want to make them myself and do make them, is because each story is unique and different. If everything was the same homogenized bullshit, I would say, fuck it. This movie, look, you can go, I actually did over the weekend because I was out of town. I watched the Snyder cut of Justice League and the fucking Man of Steel was on.
Yep.
Those movies feel so similar. I don't want to watch a superhero movie that feels like every other superhero movie. Folks, the DC films play like the DC style guide from the 1980s, the old Jose Luis Garcia Lopez DC comic style guide, where one guy dictated the house style for 40 years. We're actually still using that guy's art. Now, I will go and say he's one of my favorite living artists. I think his work is great, and I would kill to get my hands on a copy of some of that original DC style guide stuff. But you want a unique book. You don't want Frank Miller's artwork to look just like David Mazzucchelli's, to look just like Bob Layton's, to look just like John Romita Jr.'s, to look just like who else is John Byrne. We'll just stick with the 1980s right now. You want a unique flavor with all of your things, because if everything's the same, just buy more of the same shit. If you really like one thing, well, then keep watching it. I got to give Doctor Strange credit. It is like nothing I've ever seen from the MCU.
Agreed. I think that's its biggest selling point. Like, for him, that stood out the most was like, it did not feel like because I don't know how true this is or all the details, but like the MCU, they've been doing the action sets or whatever, or the what's it called, man? The action scene. There's a term for it, but anyway, they've been like. Well, no, like the whole set, like, well, the whole stage, like, all the battle, whatever, like they're pre-done before they start actually filming the story part of, like, it's very factory done in this phase. Oh, yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's all just coming off of, like, there's one guy putting on the wheels on it, and then the next one, and it just goes on, and there's not any individual, like, artistic influence on it. Really, it's just like what it needs to be an MCU movie. Make sure you hit these points. Blah blah blah. Go on, right? But this one, it was like, hey, Raimi, do whatever the fuck you want. Just don't say fuck.
Well, you know what? Sam Raimi, though, has never been a vulgar language kind of guy.
Right.
I mean, even in his R-rated flicks, Evil Dead stuff that he was making back in the day, he's not Kevin Smith. Look, there's a reason Kevin Smith will never touch a superhero film at this level, or any superhero film. He claims it's because he doesn't want to do it. And yeah, he got burned from Superman. But, like, Sam Raimi is he's like Peter Jackson. See, I need to make the video on this because I got this one I wrote. I'm going to put out this. Actually, folks, quick plug. I went to the Funko headquarters this weekend, the World Funko headquarters. Yeah, I went into hell. I got a video. I filmed the entire process. So I'm going to make that and have that out on Saturday morning. We put out a quick Ghostbusters one to just try to do the algorithm, but got tons of content. I've been writing, been working like crazy. It's been a lot of fun. I have, you know what? When the time is right, we'll always be here. And right now, the time is right. So get ready. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the bell, all that shit. Change it up and get ready.
Yes.
I want to talk about the next video is the double standard right now. We have the double standard, some of this Amber Heard, Johnny Depp stuff. Then we have coming up Netflix, Disney, some of these big companies. Let's break it down. You want to talk about companies going woke, going broke? I don't use that vernacular. What I do say, though, is these companies that were once thought too big to fail have made a series of bad decisions that is impacting them on a level that we've never seen at the top. And all the big giants are starting to fall as there's a big shift in entertainment. It's interesting to watch the shift happen because all the shit that we called, all this crap, you can call it wokeness. That's why we have woke busters to make fun of it. But if you want to call it any of this stuff, that is all gonna die because there's no way. Put it like this: the people that propagate it are getting hurt. Netflix, Disney, the big ones, the ones that put that shit in everything, they are cutting things. They're getting sued. Netflix is getting sued for cutting animation Netflix is getting sued because of the lost subscriber count and the impact on their revenue. Shit is happening. You know, last year Netflix put out a really shitty movie. I don't even say the fucking name. It's disgusting. You know what I mean? Impacts, shit happens, people, this shit rolls downhill. You complain about Disney and you don't like what they do, well, they're in trouble right now. Not because of that, but because of other things. All this shit definitely rolls and impacts. So it's interesting, it's fun, it's an exciting time to make content, to talk about it, because there's a real conversation to have. And I'm excited to have that with each and every one of you. Yeah. Dion, would you be a part of that conversation? Matt, would you be a part of that conversation?
Oh, for sure,
brother. 100%.
I also think there actually is some really great content out there that doesn't get talked about enough because everybody's so focused on the negative, on the negative parts of it. But like Severance over on Apple TV, oh my God, I was blown away by how good that show was.
It's on my list. I gotta watch it.
Ben Stiller, the perfect director for that.
I heard it was great.
It really was. And juxtapose that with Moon Knight. That Moon Knight was supposed to be this character study, and it was, I mean, surface level bullshit at best. And watching Severance kind of around the same time, I'm like, oh, I'm done with Moon Knight. I'm done. They never went back to it.
I have a question. Is it wrong that I automatically put superhero movies and certain types of genre entertainment in its own category and never even give it a chance to become one of my personal put like this? I don't ever give it a chance to become like the all-time greatest on my list. I discredit this genre shit automatically. It's not that I hold it to a lower standard. It's that I don't expect it to be as good as Star Wars or as good as Back to the Future or as good as this other shit. It's, you know, it's really difficult to rank a lot of the superhero stuff because it's so similar in its take.
No, you shouldn't be judged on that because they did that to themselves. Like there's there's action and action adventure and horror. You know, I agree with you 100% that superheroes that genre has made its own thing because of this crazy yo-yo of quality and story and you know the low point of that. You know, like it's okay that you feel that way because of movies like Captain Marvel, because of movies like Homecoming, or because of movies like Black Widow. Like it's its own thing because you have those lows that are like, yeah, this is a fucking comic book movie if you were to make it in this political state. Like I think you're 100% warranted to feel that way.
I know we keep jumping around like all these fucking portals to multiple dimensions, but the one scene we haven't discussed. Now, it's funny how I have made it sound like my favorite part of this movie was the X-Men theme or the Illuminati stuff. No, flat out, my favorite part was the Deadite Doctor Strange. I'll show my hand. I like Sam Raimi movies a lot more than most people that are going to be watching this shit. So, like, again, I really don't know how people are going in looking for like Captain Marvel or the Eternals. Like, I don't think the Eternals got enough pushback. People really, the Eternals suffered a lack of a box office. If more people saw that, it would have got the negative response it deserved. It is a bad piece of shit, and it represents something worse than a bad movie because, like Captain Marvel or the Star Wars sequels, if you talk about them, you get called those terrible things. And I'm glad that you can't have that kind of discussion with Doctor Strange because, like, you know what they do to say America Chavez is possibly gay? She wears a Puerto Rican flag.
Never saw it.
And it's the flag, and it's the rainbow flag. Literally, I was like, because you see it in a big screen, you're like sitting there like, oh, okay, I don't care. Like, it's not addressed in the story. It's not part of the story.
No, I agree.
I didn't even know it was there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think this is, this movie is as good as you can get in this atmosphere from a Marvel movie. Like this is like if they had made this movie the same way they made Black Widow would be considered a great Marvel movie. Like this is like because and those faults are why this movie isn't awesome. Like there are faults that definitely deserve to be talked about, but also like this is the best that we can get, and I think it deserves credit at least for being that good, so to speak. Well, like it's a product of its time, but it's still pretty damn good for being a product of its time.
You made a great comparison though. Like, folks, imagine if Paul Greengrass, aka the Bourne director, directed Black Widow.
Fucking hate it.
But I'm trying to come up with a name though. Like, say what you will, fine. We'll use Martin Campbell, who directed Goldeneye, Casino Royale, and The Mark of Zorro.
Oh,
Excuse me, Mask of Zorro.
Sorry, it's because the shaky cam. I mean, he's to blame for the shaky cam.
You know what, though? I would have picked John Wick, but I don't know who the fuck makes John Wick. Like, I can't think of a name. So, the guy who makes John Wick. It's like if you had that guy and that team make Black Widow. That's what it's like to get Sam Raimi, though, making this one, because it's like Drag Me to Hell Sam Raimi style of shit, So, there is no bad writing in this movie where I go, what? Huh? There's no plot holes. Also, too, I think this movie's on another level visually that people can't even comprehend. Like the fucking music scene. Doctor Strange fights with music, and it's so
awesome.
Cool. That was
so
cool.
Cool.
My God. And then the fucking way he wins the battle is by strumming the fucking harp, which creates one more musical note to fight. Like, it was so guys, like, folks out there watching, Doctor Strange is fighting with these musical notes that he rips out of the thing, and the bad guy pulls out the fucking sheet music, and it creates like this sheet music in the sky, and it's playing the music. It's like, it's mind-blowing. Like, for as cool as you think like all the interdimensional shit's going to be, Doctor Strange's powers are so fucking cool in this movie, and I, for one, will support more Doctor Strange. Unless Benedict Cumberbatch like comes over to my house and like kicks shit pancake or something, like he's okay in my book.
So the I'm gonna say that the music fight hit a little different for me. And the guy next to me, we were both like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
I played music, so I was like, "Oh my God!"
But that guitar from like the '80s action movie, right?
Yeah, like when Doctor Strange's third eye opened up, I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
I didn't get that. It stood out so much. Like, you know what I mean? It kind of just like made me freeze watching it.
That was the part that differentiated it amongst the other run-of-the-mill Marvel movies for me.
See, I thought it was earlier. I thought it was Wanda just like looking like Carrie, dragging her foot down these halls, like chasing them. That whole sequence is what stood out to me the most, because honestly, there was a couple jump scares and it got me. But it's so fucking good. You know what I mean? I didn't really care. Go ahead.
Okay. No, just what you're saying because that was going to be a.
Oh, I was gonna say I really didn't care for the interactions between Strange and Mojo. I don't know, not Mojo. What's the dude's name?
Baron Mordo.
Red Belt.
Red Belt.
He was in the movie Red Belt. He has a name I'm not even gonna try to pronounce in public.
Is he the black guy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
Baron Mordo is his character's name.
Right. Yeah, those two. Like the fight was pretty cool. I guess I guess wasn't buying their interaction or whatever. So that kind of guess. Dude, I was in it, right? Wanda's like just going cuckoo bananas on everybody, and then we cut to them, and I'm like, okay, guys, that's cool. All right, well, pretty cool move.
I comparatively speaking, it wasn't well done at all. When we're gonna just talk about that scene in a minute, we're actually gonna dissect that one because that's the most discussable part of the movie. I was hoping, and I know this is naive, but part of me was hoping that Baron Mordo was secretly the regular one from the other movie and like had figured this out before. Like I get it. It's a fan idea. It's me putting my own conjecture on the film, but I just thought is like another layer that would have furthered Doctor Strange's continuing adventures with Baron Mordo, one of his prime villains. I was deep down hoping for that. Did I get it? No, I thought it was dumb. That was not, you know what though? That was a dumb part that was bookended by stuff that's so amazing.
Yeah,
it's kind of like in Spider-Man 2. Maybe it's just a Sam Raimi problem. Like, there's a really great fight scene between Doc Ock and Spider-Man on the side of the building after the bank heist. Right. But they keep cutting back to the people inside the building, and I'm just so disinterested in that part. I know it's small, but maybe it's a Sam Raimi part because the Illuminati scene in this movie was awesome. Like, for as much as people want to go on about the TVA and all the time variants and this and that, like, look, the reason the media reports on these Disney Plus shows is because we have access to them. You can watch them 10 times because you have a subscription. You can sit and parse every detail. Plus, they're written a different way for that. I mean, let's talk about this. Doctor Strange was a short movie by comparison. It was 2 hours and 6 minutes. It was not a long feature. And that works. It doesn't.
I think so.
Dude, having these blown out Marvel epics is tiresome. You know, I can't commit. This isn't Lord of the Rings. I don't even want to commit the time to Lord of the Rings, but like to watch a 3 hours Avengers movie, that's an event. I can only do that every once in a while.
Well, also because I don't think they pace their movies very well either. Like Kevin Costner, my God, he can't make a movie that's under 3 hours. However, Dancing with Wolves, like just the pacing of it, it always felt moving. It felt shorter than I tried watching that Matrix, the newest Matrix movie, and when I paused it, and I thought I was 2 hours in. We made it 20 minutes. I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? Right? But like pacing is so important. And I think like this movie was, I love that because the Batman as well. Like I felt like that was long. I enjoyed it. It was long. But this one though, I think it benefited from having a shorter runtime. Yeah,
it didn't gloss over anything that I can remember. I never once went, wait, what? But I liked every place that it kept whisking me off to. And I liked what they did with Wanda in this film, where, yeah, she's the crazy lady that wants to have her kid and stuff. But what I mean is like how they presented the Scarlet Witch when Doctor Strange is visiting her in that orchard and she's like, you know, she snaps her fingers and becomes, you know, becomes the dark place and all the red comes in. Like, and the way they would change the frame rate on her eyes and make her like real jittery and like a witch and unsettling. There was, like I said earlier in this show, there's a lot of care put into this movie. And it's not like a lot of care is then met with a garbage script. Like,
when she went the ring and came out that shit, I was not ready for that. Like when she came out the reflection or whatever, and she's all bent over crazy like that chick from The Ring.
Yes.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
Man, I was about to jump in the lap of the dude next to me. I'm like, I don't know. I don't care for that.
I want to have an actual genuine emotional response to a Marvel movie outside of laughter or going, whoa. Because, dude, I've cheered at some of these. Like the first Avengers movie is still my favorite theater going experience ever. And we'll talk about the Avengers and Spider-Man a little bit because we're actually going to wrap up Doctor Strange because we have 2 other topics to cover, but it'll be briefer. But feeling something at a movie is important. I was happy that the audience did not really resonate or respond to the America Chavez moments. There was like one joke she made that I think was meant to be like the big audience moment, and like nobody said shit.
Yeah. They even left the beat. Don't do that. They left the beat like in the movie. Like, now pause for the laughter.
Yep.
I'm like, oh man, that's gonna be embarrassing when you're at the screening and it doesn't hit. But by the way, dude, in my audience, everybody reacted to Jack Ryan, right, coming down as Mr. Fantastic, John Kalansky, whatever his name is, right?
Yep.
Everybody's what? And I was like, his head looks like too big, maybe too small for his body. Something doesn't fit. And then Professor Xavier comes in. Nobody makes a noise. They're like, yeah, there he is.
My response for Professor X was, it's the yellow chair like in the cartoons and the Jim Lee books. Like, that's what I took away from it.
But it didn't look right.
You know, though,
it looked too high.
The what? The chair?
Like above his belly button.
Oh, the chair looked wrong. It wasn't perfect. Look at what makes me like this Professor X is that warm speech he gave about it's never too late to give up or keep pushing forward. Like, even in these like quick little moments, they wrote like a really great 1980s Professor X. Like, I feel like he would have given that speech to Kitty Pryde or somebody in the 80s, you know, when he's off with fucking Moira McTaggart or somebody. Like, that's what I responded to, not the fucking theme song. The theme song was cool. I was like, oh my God, I loved it.
I lost my shit.
But it also too, let me think back because I've seen all the X-Men movies, but I don't recall them doing a Professor X mind moment so close to a comic like they did where he was trying to pull her out of the rubble. Like, they created the internal conflict that Professor X does. Like, there's this great issue of X-Men from the 80s where Professor X is like in Morocco or some country in that part of the world. Shadow King, you know the issue. The Shadow King issue.
Yeah.
The whole fight's in their mind, and in reality, they're just two dudes sitting at a fucking table or like across from each other or something. And that is awesome.
Yes, almost samurai in the way, like like in The Last Samurai, like they would play out all the moves in their head before it ever happens. It was kind of the same thing, like everything's happening in their minds. But I thought as soon as like he goes into into the mind or whatever, I'm like, oh, this is like what he did with Shadow King. Like, it immediately hit for me. See, I got some nerd cred. As long as it was I discovered I like the chicks. Because then I'm like, I'm done with comics. But I really like that moment. I love that they went for it with him and the like the view coming from his mind, like from his head.
Yes, I saw that too.
I was just like, I see you, Raimi.
It's nice that Sam Raimi is such a fan of this shit. And that's one of the takeaways I will always have from this film, and something I will give it credit for forever moving forward is they were able to take certain comic book effects that have never been replicated on screen and did it the best way possible. Between Professor X's, the effect that ripples out of his head, to the way Wanda's power is rendered, to the way other characters move, Doctor Strange stuff, like it adds. It's like, if I complain about they turn on the lightsaber wrong in The Force Awakens, that's an issue. It's nice that when Sam Raimi is involved, like Professor X feels like every Professor X. Now, Mr. Fantastic, this is the line I wanted to talk about at the beginning of the stream. Doctor Strange knew who Mr. Fantastic was. He goes, didn't you go up in the 60s? We have confirmation that the Fantastic Four in the 616 universe will be a period piece in the 1960s, because that one line right there, it tells you. So I'm cool with that. I'm of the mind that the best Fantastic Four film ever made is The Incredibles. They figured it out then. But I'm also on board for them actually figuring out the formula if they can get their heads out of their asses.
Yep.
I was going to go with the 94, but you're probably right.
Dude, the 94. Did you know that the guy that plays Mr. Fantastic in the 94 Fantastic Four film is the same actor that plays young Henry Jones Sr. in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade?
No, I didn't.
Sadly, all of his scenes that show his face were cut out, but he's still credited and all the body work is him. But that guy is young Henry Jones Sr.
That movie holds a special part, the 94 one, because I was a kid and I remember every day going to my local movie store and be like, excuse me, has Fantastic Four came out? They're like, no, kid, get out of here. It's never coming out. Never. As I cry my way out of the store. And I had never seen it until probably like a year ago. I finally saw it for the first time because I was like, oh, it's probably on YouTube. But like, oh man,
I caught that. I remember as a kid reading comic books and seeing pictures of it in the comic, and then I didn't see the movie probably until YouTube, but I always knew it was out there. And the movie that I gravitated towards as a kid, even though it was shitty, was that 1990 Captain America film.
ooh.
It's
Wait, is that the one where
terrible.
his move is I'm feeling sick, pull over?
Yeah.
Greatest superhero move.
Matt Salinger, he fucking his dad wrote Catcher in the Rye. Good for him. Rest in peace. But like he's also in Revenge of the Nerds, so he's kind of a whatever actor. But
Yeah.
do you like looking back, let's take a second and think about how Marvel movies were back then. Then Bryan Singer's X-Men changes a lot of stuff. But Spider-Man really is the game changer. I get it.
Yeah.
You know, X-Men hit big at the box office. They reference it in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah, but they sacrificed a lot though, because they didn't think that it would work. So they have him in black leather. You know what I mean? And they even make fun of it. At least Spider-Man felt like Spider-Man, you know?
Yeah, I like your Stan Lee impression.
Oh,
But
did
no,
I do it?
Yeah.
Nailed it. Chat, guys. Stanley's not here in spirit or anything like that. That was just me
Yeah.
doing the impression. Go on.
You like the ghost of Obi-Wan? At
I
all?
want to make sure our audio listeners like, oh man, they got Stan Lee Ouija board shit.
You know what? That would make a great comic book. We get together and we use a Ouija board to tell Stan Lee Oh wait, I'm gonna fucking come up with that. Never mind. I'm gonna stop.
Oh
talking.
wait, Huggins got an idea too.
Let's write that one down. No, but the big broad point is like we're now in this, like, I guess we'll call it the fourth stage of comic book movies. We have our Batman 89, before that we have Donner Superman and that era of superhero movies, and that ends with Spider-Man. Then you have this new era of superhero movies post Spider-Man. Then you have the first MCU era, which I would argue ends at Endgame, and now we're in this post Marvel MCU era where it's like the rules have changed, but the audience really wants the old game still. Like, I understand that they don't want to become stagnant and boring, but there's a phrase in wrestling where they say they leave money on the table.
Yeah.
I believe they left a lot of money on the table with these characters being killed off. And I get it. We just watched a movie about the multiverse, but we also know Marvel movies, for some reason, it's the biggest moneymaker, but they're notoriously cheap. Like, that's why Terrence Howard is no longer involved with Marvel. How many actors have not come back because of money? Like, I'm not in business with them. They get what they're doing. I understand they're, doing their own thing, but like, it's catching up because it's starting to look cheap too. Like, man, you're not wrong. I will not take back any of the gushing I did with the visual style of this film, but there is bad special effect work, and it's not just this one, dude. Spider-Man. I went back and watched that one, and I know that's a Sony movie. We're a little different, but let's take up other MCU films. The Eternals. They had that noticeably bad Selma Hayek doll at the forefront of the film. Like, they are really cutting corners in a noticeable way, and that is something I wish more fans would call them out on too.
Yeah, like I said, like a lot of these set pieces or whatever, I think that they're being produced before the movie even, like, it's like a factory line. And I wonder, like, and I don't know why they do. So apparently, like, their whatever companies that they use for their effects or whatever, they're so fucking backed up. They're having to, like, that's why they're having to change things in the release schedule, is because things are, some things are a little further along than the other ones, and they just don't have enough time, or they won't put enough. They won't invest enough in the manpower to get all these effects done, because they're doing all these movies almost like it's a continuous. They're continuously filming or like getting or in production of the next thing, and then they're not letting people have enough time to really put in the effort that fans deserve. You know what I mean? Like, Starship Troopers is a great example, because they had so much additional time that they really got to take their, like, really put in a lot of detail in their CGI. Like, when the bugs are going through the sand, you see little pockets of sand, and the graphics hold up because they had so much additional time to do the best they possibly could. And the artists now do not have that that benefit or whatever like that. Like they just don't have enough time to do
It shows
a quality job.
It shows, man. It's interesting though. I've had this theory. There could be stuff to back it up, but tell me in the chat, folks, what you think. Early CGI was going for photorealism, and so certain things do look pretty good, even by today's standard. Like I bought Starship Troopers on 4K because I had read that it looks great, so I liked the movie. I could quote it, but I bought it again to watch it. It does hold up. It looks better than a lot of modern movies, and I don't mean like, look, folks, 4K discs don't make old movies magically look better than new movies. All I'm saying is some old CGI was really shooting for photorealism and was pretty close. It looked good. I think nowadays a lot of the CGI is going for like an artistic style because there's no limitations.
Right.
And so, yeah, you do get artistic, neat things, but you also get some fake looking shit that doesn't look good. And so we're kind of like, I won't say we've taken a step back in terms of our CGI work. I think we've taken a lateral step when other parts of technology have advanced so far, and it's kind of disappointing that Marvel movies can't fix that step that other movies can.
Well, it is also, especially, I mean, the cheaper the movie, the more you're going to see the plugins, right? Like, nothing pisses me off more than when I see the blood effect, and you can see that it's just like digitally added later on, like a plug, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh, you
After Effects.
lazy bastards. Or like they're firing in the dust cover on their AR-15 isn't even down, and they're just shaking it like, yeah. I think the best is always the mix of practical with CGI enhancing it, rather than it relying solely on CGI.
Agreed. There was some, I mean, there weren't a lot of practical effects in Doctor Strange because you can't conjure up that kind of shit in reality.
Yeah.
But was there actually anything action-wise that was like, that had a real set? Because I know we jumped around a second ago, but when we were talking about the fight scene at the Illuminati headquarters, like, that was all very confined and small. This movie does feel, honestly, some of the bigger moments feel small. Like, man, I gotta, thinking back, when they're in, well, not Shangri-La, but whatever the fictional places they were in the beginning, where were they trying to go to? Comertage.
Okay.
I thought Comertage looked like a set in front of a green screen. I never once believed that Comertage was real. Like that, like the shit out in the mountains looked real. The shit out in Wanda's throne room looked beautiful, but Comertage did look fake. The more I think about it,
right when Wanda attacks, looks like a fucking like set from Ben-Hur, where you can tell that there are set lights and all that. Like that part didn't look great.
Yeah, definitely, because like the blending that they did for everyone there with the giant green screen, like oh boy. There was a few moments like, can I ask you how you felt about like, so at the very end, like, he's like, it's been inside of you all along, I rolled my arms. Oh, and I'm like, wait, hold on. Like, I get that she's, I guess, has it or whatever, but like she starts doing hand motions and shit. I'm like, wait, why are you doing that? How do you know that's like an activating thing? Also, why is it in the shape of a star, the portal or whatever?
Because she's a
I have
stupid
a problem
character.
with that.
Anyway, I guess like her fight scene against Wanda, I'm like, I guess it just felt to me like kind of like over the top, like when he teaches him to move his fingers, to over the top, and then he'll win if he has his hat backwards. Like that was more effort in strategy to how to perfected than Strange going, it's inside of you.
That seemed like one of those weird identity moments in a movie where it's like, actually, let me phrase it. It's like a Captain Planet moment. Like we're gonna talk with the audience to tell you how important you are. Shit like that does affect my score of this film. It doesn't make it bad. It's not like, oh, that scene made this movie go from a 6 to a 2. Like, it's not extreme. It is.
No, yeah.
But no, you're like, I can't in good faith praise one aspect of the film and blindly ignore the other. Some things are going to affect me in my score and my view more, but that part did bother me. I remember sitting there going, huh? Really? Like, Okay.
Yep. Agreed.
Also, when she goes, I forgot what she said. Like when she first got to her throne room or whatever, she goes, "This isn't this. This is my throne room." Like,
Oh, this isn't a grave or a tomb. I thought that was cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not a tomb. It's my throne room. Like, yeah, we kind of got that from I think Raimi could have done a better job telling us that visually rather than this Loki writer going like, no, dude, they're dumb. We got to spell it out for them. Do you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. I don't think it bothered me.
Yep, agreed. It didn't bother me. It was the way the story was built, and that when she said it, it didn't seem so cheesy. They did a good job of it. I mean, it's still a cheesy moment, but it's not. It doesn't outdo the rest of the story where it takes you out of the whole story that they're telling.
Again, I still enjoyed the parts that I enjoyed, and believe me, like there really were moments that I was 100% in, and I'm reacting to what's happening on screen, and it was fun. It was fun. But there was other things like I'm just like, please kill these kids. Why? What is this song they're singing? I don't care about them. They're not even real. Sorry, that song bugged the shit out of me. I loved her. I loved Wanda's performance. Like that scene specifically, when she hears the kids and you can actually see the emotion hitting her, right? But then they sing that damn song, and I'm like, God dang it, you've ruined it.
I want to give you a soundtrack of this movie. The soundtrack. You're going to get that as a gift for appearing on the show tonight, man. So thank you.
Oh, no. Dude, is it on there? Do they do a remix?
Yeah. 2 times,
dude,
just for you.
Y'all weren't bothered by the ice cream song?
What ice cream song?
What? So Wanda dream walks, right, into 834 or whatever, 838, whatever it was.
Yeah.
That Wanda, and the kids are like, we got to show you something, Mommy.
Oh,
We're
that's
so
stupid.
good.
That song was dumb. But you know what? Kids are dumb.
Yes, they shouldn't be in the movies.
I agree.
Eat them.
Though, kid, look,
They
it's
should
the
be in the
best.
fridge with the women.
Look, I'll do you one better because he belongs in the kitchen with the woman in Tales from the Dark Side of the movie. That's the best kid acting ever, folks. Go back and watch was it Matthew Lawrence and Debbie Harry? He's trying to convince her not to eat him. It's a good movie.
Okay, there are a few, like Love and Monsters, that little girl in that one. I'm like, okay, you're adorable.
Love and Monsters was really good. I bought that on disc. I loved it.
I was shocked by how much I enjoyed it.
I found out my favorite Doctor Who episode is also titled Love and Monsters. Did I tell you guys a guy who used to write for Doctor Who asked me to be part of his fan fiction book, his Doctor Who fan fiction that's going to be published?
No, you didn't tell that.
Yeah, I'm working on it now. I've been doing a little research because I only own a couple Doctor Who things, so I'm trying to go back and do it properly. But I'm having fun, and I'll make sure everyone knows all the cool things I get to be a part of when they come out. So be on the lookout for that, folks. 2021 was a crazy year for some, and I guess it lined up certain things for me. So, hey, 2022 has been kind of fun. So thank you for everybody who's made that possible. Everyone here has made that possible. Didn't forget you guys. So thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Demon Knight. That's a good movie. Sorry, it's hard not reading the chat and doing the show at the same time because it's like I'm having a conversation with you guys as well as the chat. And in a moment, we're going to get with you guys because we've not ignored, but we were into the conversation. So we're going to read the super chats. I still want to hear you guys' opinions on the Dave Chappelle stuff. And I still want to give Spider-Man a couple moments because it turned 20 yesterday. And Spider-Man is oddly the most impactful movie ever for me and this YouTube channel. And I'll explain a little later. But in the meantime, folks, let's close out our Doctor Strange discussion. Dion, on a scale of 1 to 10, or fine, give me either a scale of 1 to 10, or where you would rank this in the Marvel area. Meaning, would you consider this top tier Marvel, or do you want to give me a number? You pick.
I would say, I won't give you a number, but I'll say it is top. If there was a limit to top tier, this just breaks it. Like this is a top tier movie. It just breaks the threshold. It has just enough going for it where it's going to be considered in the top tier, so to speak, of Marvel films.
Man, what about you, man?
So not quite as positive on this one as Dion. There were moments that were like really enjoyable, but I mean, I think that this should be, if you've already seen The Northman, if you've already seen that Nicolas Cage movie, and as long as there's nothing that comes out, I have no faith in Top Gun, then you can go see it if you got the time. You know what I mean? I wouldn't go out of my way to see this. I think that the more viewings I have of it, was maybe one, maybe two, I don't know how that's going to affect, because I'll no longer have that same initial reaction to a lot of it. So I may actually be more critical of it. I don't know yet, but for now, I'm going to give it a tentative like 6.5. I think it's
Wow.
yeah, 6.5. Because again, I know that like the whole CGI thing, like, well, that has nothing to do with the story, but just the overall quality feels like we've taken such a dip that I can't just let them get away with it, because it's not as if they aren't making money. They are refusing to they're refusing to put the amount of like the capital into it to make it actually worthy of the praise that we were giving phase 1 through 3. And they're doing it to save money because they got us hooked. I mean, if you've ever sold drugs before, Dion, I assume, you'll know that, you got to get them hooked, and then they'll come back and you can step on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like this is the stepped on shit that we're getting now.
I don't disagree. I think we're in the middle of getting lesser superhero movies than what came before, but I enjoyed this movie. I thought the acting was solid across the board. Nobody gave a bad performance, including, how do you say her name? Xochitl Gomez, whoever played America Chavez. Like, if you want to go and hate in the character, look, I hate the character as much as you do. Go back and watch anything I've ever said on YouTube about the character. I still stand by it. I stand by all my views and all my opinions on SJW Marvel. Whatever Marvel became in 2013 until it is now, I still stand by it. And I refuse to support the publishing arm at all. That is really the fucking cesspool of Marvel. And that is where this character does come from. If the character was even 15% of what it was, like it is in the fucking comics, I'd be bitching and complaining. But like, it's just a whatever kid that's in no way annoying. She's just there. You could also, if you need to critique her, you could literally have any other character in that role. You could pick a non-Marvel character, like a made-up one for the movie. Anything you want. Anybody could take on that role. You could have made an alien. You could have had it be Groot. It could have been anything. Anybody could have been breaking through those dimensions and added as much to the overall Marvel Cinematic Universe as she did. So she's inconsequential. Is Doctor Strange the star of his own story? You damn right he is. Which version? A couple different versions. Benedict Cumberbatch is still good as Doctor Strange in my eyes. He's funny. He's intense. He's a solid actor. I really don't see people shit on him or his acting chops, because you can't. Even if he never played Doctor Strange, he was always considered one of those types of serious actors. He's doing something a little popcorny and fun. But from top to bottom, I enjoyed that. Elizabeth Olsen was good. I was a little tired of her by the end of the movie. I'm glad she's dead. I never want to see Wanda again. If any, I have complaints about this movie, but the more I think about those complaints, those become complaints of WandaVision and other shows like Loki before it. Because I feel like there's multiple ways to view Marvel movies. You can view everything and be up to date. We used to be like that. Still am for the most part. You can just watch the movies, or you can watch, just the shows. This movie doesn't have a ton that is, I don't think you need to see Loki and this and that. Maybe it over-explains Mad, but it also does exist as a film for more people to watch as the introduction into the multiverse. Now, Spider-Man just made $1 billion, and it gave a little introduction to that too, with Doctor Strange. I hope Doctor Strange is the focal point of the MCU moving forward, as he currently is. I don't need everything to be about him, but that level of power is interesting. That level of responsibility, what he sacrificed, is interesting to me. I want to see where the character goes. I want to see if he ever actually finds that happiness. That was interesting to me. I want to see what happens with basically the rest of it. Is I want to see how long Marvel can go without shit in the bed, because damn it, the multiverse is going to be basically either amazing or it's going to be held together by popsicle sticks and duct tape, and it's going to show, because right now some of the scenes are showing the production of these movies is lesser than it used to be, and they don't hit. And so everything suffers from the law of diminishing returns. Everything does. And eventually it stops. And Marvel, I think they're on their way down. Is it over? Maybe. What's next for the MCU? While I ask you guys that, let me just pull up MCU Phase 5.
By the way, we never brought up the Manator.
Oh, the blue
bull,
guy?
The bull, yeah. Like, where did dude? He came on. I'm like, wow. Like I was not expecting that to be, they're wizarding it up. You know what I mean?
Now, it's interesting how we had been talking or have heard about the MCU and the coming shift. That stuff is Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and all that other stuff is still to come. Look, folks, my excitement for Doctor Strange does not absolve anything that's on its way down. Everything gets reviewed as its own. I know people wanted us to rip Captain Marvel apart back in the day because everything Brie Larson said. We ripped the film apart because it was a bad film. And everything Brie Larson said makes us dislike her. But remember, we're going to always... What I'm trying to get at is it hurts more to review the thing with honesty when it sucks ass like Captain Marvel did, because then she can't bitch her way out of anything. Reviewing a film that way, talking about these things that way, it goes to show you that all this ideological shit they put in entertainment, if it backs a bad movie, will die. And you can make fun of the movie for the ideology and the fact that it's bad. You want to hit them with a 1-2 punch, embarrass them, and kick them out of the fucking bed. Nobody needs this shit.
I know you're trying to finish it up on this, but Peggy, her intro, she came out with such intensity. I'm like, what are you doing?
Bro, it was too much intensity. Like,
oh my God.
Haley Atwell looked scary in that scene.
Yo, like, I didn't know she was a Mandalorian. 1.
Nor did I.
2, the jetpack. Come on. When she goes, she does the Captain America line. Like, why don't you just get up already? And she's like, I could do this all day. I forgot the line, man. What is it like? Remember Captain America? He said he was like,
I could do this all day or whatever.
Whatever it is.
Hated, oh my! I know what the part you're talking about.
Oh,
dude, Jesse and I looked at each other and went, "Oh God!" It was. Yeah. Look, all that writing that does come to the right. The girl power moment in the middle of the movie is garbage. Like, because she got cut in half, though. Like
that kind of redeems it a little. Yeah.
Well, I have a sliding scale of annoying characters. If an annoying character gets away, I hate the thing. If the character committing the annoying act or the annoying character dies, like, it's cathartic when you watch all those shithead kids eat it in Friday the 13th movies because, Jason's the hero. And these kids are just dicks. So you don't care that they get chopped up and, destroyed. Same thing with this. I enjoyed how over the top and bitchy and however they wanted to present the women's superpowers in this movie, because they all died. Like, if they were to all and they fought Wanda, and so it wasn't like they were trying to put a dude in their place. She just promptly ended them, and then Wanda killed herself. Like, if you've read the comics for a long time, you understand how overpowered Wanda became eventually. The No More Mutants thing with House of M was cool, but like, whatever happened after that one.
Yeah, she's definitely been hiding her power level in the MCU to this point.
Fresh News 24/7, we did address the Doctor Strange mentioning Reed Richards is from the 60s. That is probably the most exciting thing to look forward to for me. It's like, oh, cool, we're going to do a Marvel period piece. Fucking finally. Like,
do you trust them to have it to be more than just a throwaway line for, the super nerds?
I don't think so, because like the normies that want to parade around as experts in Marvel, like a lot of your Grace Randolphs and your people that really just don't know anything about comic books, but have a platform online, so talk about them because they're popular, those types of things.
Yeah.
Those people, like, those kind of tidbits are too obvious to those types of people that like you can just not address it, but you make your universe lesser. Like I was going into every Marvel movie, and that was the exciting part where no line of dialogue didn't mean something. Back in the day of Spider-Man 2, they mentioned Doctor Strange, but it's taken, like, and that's never addressed again. Doctor Strange is out there somewhere. Oh, cool. Like, you have to wait 20 something years to go, is it a multiverse connection, and make it up yourself. We do need Ash versus Marvel Zombies, Andy McCallum. That'd be amazing. But no, I do think that line has relevance because the Fantastic Four and X-Men are the two big franchises they got coming from Marvel. And you can tell me out there, oh, they're going to milk Captain Marvel and she's going to make them all this money. No, she's not, because nobody rebrands. No superhero movies ever rebranded itself to take the hero out of the title. Oh, but they're going to include more Marvels. It doesn't fucking matter. That's the one I'll preemptively say skip. Do you need to hear a kid and two angry women go on about how they're going to save the fucking universe? No. You know what? If that's the reality that I got to live in, let the fucking octopus monster eat me, or let reality get destroyed. Let me live on the fucking planet or the reality where it's just me and that warp zone thing of nothingness. Because I don't want to watch these girls. Those three are whatever. America Chavez, I can't believe was nothing like that, because if you would have asked me yesterday, I was so ready for her to be that. So,
well, yeah, what do they call them? The Marvels? What is it?
The Marvels.
By the way, I did not care for this version of Captain Marvel. I'm like, oh, cool. It's not Brie Larson. It's some dude, and that's not a dude. And why is he talking like that?
So one of the things people back in the Fandom Menace days used to say was how they would jump to Maria Rambeau or Monica Rambeau as their favorite Captain Marvel, is that or the other. We got it. It sucks. Let's stop acting like we like Captain Marvel at all and we're ready to accept that version, because Marvel can't get it right. They need to stop creating an unlikable, bitchy superhero, male or female, because like you're not likable. You're the hero of the fucking story, and then you want to give making a movie that wants to preach to half of the audience why you're an asshole, then have a fucking asshole character. It doesn't work. And then you get people that say, you just don't like the message and you're reacting. No, your delivery system is flawed. And on top of that, a comic book movie isn't necessarily the place to be talked down to by those types of people. Neither is Jurassic Park.
True. Yeah, they should have killed the clone and those dinosaurs. What the hell are you doing letting them loose?
Baby Owl, you'll never get an accurate depiction of Jean Grey. She's too cool.
Oh, man, yeah, that's way too many layers of complexity. Like, it's crazy. The 90s cartoon, their Phoenix Saga was 10 times better than they did in the movies. And they tried it twice. They did two different movies and they fucked it up both times.
X-Men Phoenix is one of the worst fucking movies I've ever seen, and I watched it twice. I watched it once for the channel, and then I think I watched it with Jesse, or I watched it on an airplane. One of the two. But that is where I go to for what a truly shitty superhero movie is in the modern era. Like, Doctor Strange is like high art compared to X-Men Phoenix, that's what it's called, Dark Phoenix, or Apocalypse. Days of Future Past is a classic. I love that one. Some people like First Class. I don't, but I'll also say maybe it's not for me. So it could be good. It could put it like this. It's good. It could be a great movie. It's just not for me. I feel like it's above X-Men 3 and a lot of the shitty ones.
What's above X-Men 3?
First Class.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But like, if you were to say, Jeff, what's your favorite X-Men movie? It's Days of Future Past or X2, X-Men United. Those were.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And, I'm not going to put Doctor Strange in the category of all-time classic. I'm not going to put it in the category of literally the best of the MCU. But I'll say this in the closing statements. Doctor Strange was a lot of fun. I would recommend, if you like Sam Raimi, and I don't mean like Sam Raimi because you like Spider-Man, because that's a different conversation. Mm-hmm. That's a different Sam Raimi. I think that Sam Raimi is excellent. I love his movies. But if you want classic Evil Dead Sam Raimi, in the modern world without a governor on, then go see this movie. And I do think it's worth seeing in theaters because it looks great. It looks cool. If you think it's going to be woke, don't go watch it. Like, just don't.
You'll see it if you're looking.
Yeah, you'll of course you'll see anything if you're looking for it. Outside of her rainbow colored flag pin,
I didn't see it.
yeah, like, and here's the thing, I'm like, oh, she's fine, she's whatever, and I noticed that shit because I do look. I know what the audience wants to hear. I know what they're looking for too, and in good, it's not there. It's not. This ain't last year. Sorry, this isn't 2 years ago. Everything's shifted. Marvel can't make as much money anymore, and so they can't take these bullshit risks. So
well, that's their own fault, though.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Believe me, I'm not making excuses for these things. Right. I'm just letting you know, like, I don't see them having outs anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I was worried when the movie started. I'm like, wait, is it because this screen is a really nice theater I went to, right, with a great screen? I'm like, is it too nice? Is that why it looks like shit? Like, I was like, maybe it would look better. But then as it progressed and there was different set pieces, where I'm like, oh no, Vegas didn't give a shit about the beginning scene, or it didn't care as much,
Yeah,
but yeah, it was an experience that I had. And I enjoyed some.
I'm probably, when I give it the number, because it's what some people are waiting for, 7.5 or 7. Like, an 8 out of 10 makes it like really, 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 really great. And it's like, for me, it's like you're going for the shot, and it just touches the rim of greatness. And so it can be up there for a while. And in many ways, it's better than a lot of shit that came before it. But ultimately, I'll give it a 7.5. No movie's perfect. No movie gets a 10 unless I'm like, holy shit. And I can't think of a movie that's been a 10 in such a long time. But yeah, I was happy with Doctor Strange. I liked it more than the Batman. I liked it more than any superhero movie I've seen since Endgame. Am I going that far back?
Old Henry, by the way. Old Henry was my favorite movie of last year. Solid 9 for me. Old Henry is a great Western. I mean, it's really, really good. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, by the way, no women in it at all. Well, there's one but she's buried, so it doesn't count. But like, there's.
What other great movie has no women in it? Peter Jackson's first flick, Bad Taste, doesn't have any women in it. That's a great movie too.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
by the way, my 8, I like what you said about if it was an 8. Like, my 8 would be like The Gray, which I love The Gray. I've seen it multiple times. I give it like an 8. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I'm trying to think of what an 8 out of 10 for me would be. Like Back to the Future 2, I rank highly like that. I think that's a really, like, for a sequel and all that shit. But like, what else is an 8 out of 10 movie for me? Because they're like, I love that movie. Spider-Man 1 is an 8 out of 10 for me. Like, I love that movie, and it's impactful, and we'll talk about it in a moment. But it ain't a 10. It's not. Spider-Man 2 isn't even a 10 out of 10. A 10 out of 10 has to be fucking perfection, right? Like, literally nothing you would change a frame of film. That's Back to the Future for me, and a couple other ones. But
Miami Connection.
Hey, I get it, man. I've seen that film. I've been on a stream for it. Well, you know what? Let's check in with the audience because, folks, we have spent a lot of time talking about Doctor Strange, and we have other things to talk about. We can't even go super long tonight. So, TLJ Screwjob, thank you very much for your super chat from the other night. He says, sorry, boys, if it's the 4WCBS crew, I won't be able to join until 5:30. Got to watch Recada's coverage of the depth trial. No hard feelings, I hope. No, TLJ Screwjob, for literal years of support, including that message to say you weren't going to be here, how could I even fucking care? You're here. Thank you. I know you're here tonight too. You also said, and even though I won't hear it live, can I get we just walked out of the new Star Wars film, and I, for one, am emotionally gutted. Is that what you wanted, TLJ Screwjob? Because that's what I wanted to say. I have been thinking a lot about stuff as I'm going back to make some new content, and The Force Awakens still breaks my heart. I'll never get over that one.
Yeah.
As it dribbles away, finally we get to do this. I'll take a Joe Rogan motorcycle and a Joe Rogan battleships, please. Mad, have you ever been here for the Joe Rogan motorcycle button?
Yeah. That's the one where he's high on mushrooms. Or
did you see that guy accidentally hit that moose with his car?
No.
Holy shit. Jamie, pull that video up.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It makes me giggle every time. Oh, that fucking moose. Deserved it, though. What are you doing being a moose?
I know, right?
On the road.
Well, here's one that people love now.
So have you ever done DMT?
What the fuck? I haven't seen that one. What?
Yeah,
oh,
man.
He should come with a content warning on Spotify.
Just for fun.
That was crazy.
Darian217, thank you very much for your super generous super chat earlier in the show. We did read that about the OnlyFans, but thank you. Primer, thank you. He says, Hail WCBS, was there a teaser for Avatar 2? Yes, there was. I'm not excited. I won't go see Avatar 2 unless you guys want me to, or there's like a good reason. And I can't think of one ever because I didn't see Avatar 1 in theaters. I didn't like it when I saw it on home video, so fuck that shit. I know that was very, very professional and deep, but sometimes fuck it, you just got to tell people what you really think. All right, Avatar. Anyone out there watching Avatar regularly? No.
Dude.
Anyone out there know anyone that watches Avatar regularly? No. Okay. Well, if you
has anybody watched it since they saw it in the theater for the 3D?
I watched it New Year's 2011, and that was the one time I ever saw Avatar, and that was enough for me.
Dude, that trailer came on, and I was just like, I don't remember shit about the other movie. And I told the dude, I'm like, well, it's good to know they're still blue.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, it meant nothing.
No, the movie means nothing. That's just a fun discussion to have, though. Cesario Japan, or Caesar Jorpin, says, Dom family clip in honor of Kendo. You got it, dude. Folks, for those who don't know, Kendo has just become a father. So congratulations, buddy. We'll see you next week. And until then, make sure you got tons
I don't have friends. I got family.
There you go, buddy.
Oh, yeah, he also has a weight problem, apparently.
Who, Vin Diesel?
Oh, yeah, you didn't hear about this?
No.
Dude, apparently people aren't happy with him because, like, he's showing up late. He's overweight.
I've heard. One day when we hang out, I'll tell you some of the Vin Diesel stories I've heard in person.
Would love it.
Yeah, they're funny.
Great singer. Have you ever heard his techno music he does?
2 hours late for the stream. Have to start from the beginning. Just finished watching. Thank you, Kurama Uzumaki. I saw The Invisible Man, and I am getting ready to purchase the Invisible Man figure from NECA. It looks cool. I love Universal Monsters. God damn. Best shared universe before Marvel? Debate that in the chat. Hot Cheetos, what's up? He says, what app do you guys use to stream? Currently, we're on StreamYards. We are going to change that up though soon.
Oh, y'all going to restream?
Is it better?
It didn't work for us because you can't talk during the clips. Like, if you play,
it pisses me off because I pay for the highest end StreamYard. We have
Same here.
Premiere. It's not that good. I'm not even getting the separate audio channels it promised.
Oh, really?
So.
I do.
How?
So you have to select it like when you download it. Well, first you have to have it selected under settings, right? Before you start the stream. It'll you just check the box or whatever. And then when you download it, it'll say like, do you want to download the video or the recording? And then it'll say like, do you want to download the audio? Yeah, I do it all the time.
Yeah, because it never gives me the option to do for each person, or else I would.
I can walk you through it after this.
Yeah, I might have you. Because fuck StreamYards.
I appreciate them continuously trying to make it better, like adding new things. Didn't need the music. Nobody's going to use that shit.
You sure about that? Because I never do.
No.
Thank you to Hot Cheetos 69. Like, what gets your pictures in those boxes? You just click and it lets you hit upload, and you can choose what you want to put in there. But thank you. TLJ Screwjob says, now Dion can't complain about Buffalo Jeff. After this
Buffalo Dion guy showed up. No more getting mad, Dion.
You damn right. Now, Dr. Coffnails, we're going to read yours next because Xavier to God, we're going to use yours as a nice transition in a moment. Dr. Coffnails says, we'll be watching 4K 77 on May 25th. Well, Dr. Coffnails, it's been a minute, so welcome back. Have you watched it before? If not, tell me what you think when you do watch it. I think it's a very, very important thing. I'm so glad that we have it. I'm friends with one of the team members on 4K80, and he sent me their first reel the other day. Really nice guy. I don't want to dox him or anything like that, but yeah, they're really putting in the effort out there. I wish that Lucasfilm would take the hint, and I just really mean George. I understand. Put it like this: there was that thing Kathleen Kennedy said a couple of years back about them being George's movies and how they can't touch them. So I'm assuming that there's some kind of legality behind it. But when that legality passes, go back and just give us the original Star Wars films. They're culturally relevant. The Wizard of Oz is treated with respect. Star Wars is just as important. It's more important than people want to give it credit for. Fuck. Star Wars is the most important film of the modern era. Flat out.
I agree. And I also I think that it has to be some type of contract legality that's keeping them, because like you would instantly make money with such little effort if you release the non-special edition, like the original theatric cuts of the 3 films. That's easy money.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, Lucas was quoted as spending like $20 million for the special edition, but what's it cost for a great remaster? $5 million. That's a drop in the bucket for Star Wars. For us, that's a feature you could make for $5 million. But to remaster a film, oh great, they can make one new Princess Leia figure, which requires $10,000 in sculpting, make enough money to support fucking remastering the film, and then make however many millions of dollars because people are going to go out and buy it on physical media. Like, fuck, if you're smart, you put it under an expensively crazy box set and pump it full of special scenes or special features. Give us every cut of Star Wars, every deleted scene, everything. Rinse and repeat. We'll all be there. It's so easy to make money from the fans. I don't want it.
Like I said this earlier. I'm like, look, if Disney's going to fuck us, at least let us come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just give it, just every once in a while,
happy ending's important. Andy McCallum, thank you very much. He says, wonderful mess of a movie. Wanda's turn was silly. Yeah, I mean, I thought her turn was silly in WandaVision. I'm just over the character. It's kind of hard.
What's that?
Wanda's turn was silly, is what Andy McCallum said.
I kind of like the whole, like, it was easier to do the spell bullshit than it was to lie when she slipped up and said America's name or whatever. I'm like, okay, that's all right.
Yeah. Let's see. Ninja Lair
the other night we just mad fapped a video from Screen Crush talking. We did it first before Mahler, and then we did it first. But Wanda was the good guy or whatever. Wanda did nothing wrong. And I just love this movie immediately. It's like, no, Wanda's cuckoo bananas and has been cuckoo bananas.
Yeah, Wanda's the villain. And yeah, she should have had a worse death. Marvel, anybody really, when you make movies with bad guy deaths, treat them as the Indiana Jones deaths. Violence, death, chaos, destruction. Make it gory. Even though I hate Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Arana Spalco's death was great. She got all the knowledge and their eyes exploded in fire and then died. That was cool.
I agree. If kids aren't talking to their therapist about your death scene 20 years from now, you're doing it wrong.
Dude, I agree. I was scarred from the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. There was a small window of time where I looked away as a kid. I was like, and now I'm just like, ooh, Molaram. Or not, sorry. I'm like, ooh, Belloc, you deserve to go.
I am still like hesitant every time I eat a fortune cookie because of the TV series. The dinner scene, there was like a dying baby bird inside of the fortune cookie, and it has haunted me to this day.
Do you remember the eyeball in the fortune cookie?
Oh, yeah. By the way, it does not hold up. It is not as bad as what I remember.
It was never scary to me, but it's a fun watch. I love it. Let's see. Ninja Lawyer Steve said to say America Chavez may be a stupid hero, but I'd still hit it. Also need a Kendo email. I will look into the emails. Without Kendo here and stuff, with the baby being born, it's been kind of crazy, man. Xavier to God says, Marvel is better than Disney Marvel. I agree. Won't even fight you on that, man. TLJ Screwjob says, so you guys clapped when you heard the X-Men theme. I know what that is. What about the actual story plot? Well, we definitely talked about the story and the plot. It was great to hear the X-Men theme. It was exciting even to hear the X-Men theme, but here's something I wanted to bring up earlier. It's now officially credited as the X-Men 97 theme.
Yeah, I saw that.
And we now know that X-Men 97 will alter the X-Men cartoon to reflect the modern world.
Yeah.
So that's the last time I'm ever going to get excited to hear that theme song again, because now it's the face of whatever Marvel feels is important for the X-Men to tackle. And anyone that would say, with Jeff, X-Men have always tackled social issues. Great. Make sure they tackle the social issues of 1997, the same year that the story takes place in. I will be behind you 100%. But if I hear modern identity politics in a show that takes place in 1997, you're an anachronistic show, and that's a problem. So
they better kill a character first episode. They can bring back later on, but like that is, man, that's a way to start your new cartoon, is to kill off one of the characters.
They should kill Jubilee.
Oh yeah.
She's annoying as fuck. Have a Sentinel just step on her. No, have a Sentinel eat her. Like, just flat out. You are terminated.
Yeah. What did you like her as that POV like entrance to the X-Men, or Kitty Pryde and Kitty Pryde the X-Men with the Australian Wolverine?
Well, I've sadly seen Pride of the X-Men a few times. I'm gonna go with Jubilee. For as much as I dislike some of the dumber moments with Jubilee, she's the POV character for a handful of episodes, and then it's the Wolverine show. And then if it's not the Wolverine show, it's the Gambit show. And if it's not the Gambit show, it's the Cyclops show. It's like, yeah, the X-Men, the cartoon, I'm not going to call it by a fucking year because it's not how it's referred to ever. But that is the best X-Men cartoon. It's the best X-Men representation. And it was cool. Mm-hmm. That's where X-Men succeeded. It was a cool property, man. Like, look, not everything holds up from the X-Men. And what I mean is, like, go back and read the issue of the X-Men where they play basketball and they're in like the cutoff jean shorts and all this weird shit.
Shit, I had that.
It's so 90s. It hurts.
But there is an episode of the cartoon where they're all in Speedos, like Gambit's in the Speedo, but like it was like, hey, it's cool.
It was the 90s, bro. We were much better off in 92. I don't know.
I can't believe they haven't tried to give us a Gambit other than, Friday Night Lights. Like, and I like him a lot, but the actor, not his Gambit.
Yeah, his Gambit was bad. He didn't even have a fucking accent, but whatever. Joseph Fazio says, "Stop lying to yourselves. The film was a complete disaster. A sure sign Kevin Feige's meeting. A sure sign Kevin Feige's meddling ruined it. He's a complete failure along with all the MCU and a complete failure of Disney itself." I don't like Captain Marvel, WandaVision, and a handful of more recent things, but the MCU wasn't shit. Like, let's go back to the beginning. The worst movie of Phase 1 is probably Iron Man 2. And that movie's not that terrible, but it ain't good either. Then you get to Phase 2. What the fuck is all of Phase 2 was a big one. What was the worst of Phase 2? Thor the Dark World. But I'm sitting here picking out the bad ones. Like, the law of averages, man, the percentages on these movies, they weren't all bad. They weren't great, but they're not like, I find it funny though, like people want to shit on this, but then ignore like the Snyder fucking movies. Like every DC movie's been fucking garbage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Christopher Nolan stepped away. Don't ever try to convince yourself that anything connected in the DCEU is good. I'll pull the Marvel versus DC thing for a second. Fuck Wonder Woman 84. Fuck the Snyder Cut. Fuck what it represents. Fuck its execution. Fuck its stupid presentation. And fuck it. It ain't a fucking movie. It's a 4-hour exercise when a dickhead gets more control with characters that he never fucking understood. I'm going to say fuck because that goes to show you the disdain I have for Zack Snyder, just how he shows the disrespect towards the DC characters with his fucking terrible representations. Why did Superman let his father die? Fuck you, dude. That was stupid. All that stupid pseudo-intellectual bullshit that Man of Steel has in it is garbage. Everything is lesser than anything Marlon Brando delivered. Like, all of the crap for years. In Suicide Squad, don't try to delude yourself that the first Suicide Squad movie is good. And don't try to delude yourself that you're waiting for the air cut, because that shit's never fucking coming. The movie, none of this shit is good like it used to be. Like, God damn it, Christopher Nolan, I miss him. The Batman Begins and The Dark Knight are two of the best superhero movies ever made. The Dark Knight Rises, whatever. You can say that here or there. Yeah.
I actually enjoyed it. I've rewatched all the whole trilogy. I actually enjoyed the third one more than I thought I was going to. I'm still like, bitch, you didn't get back to Gotham. But
Dude, that was such a dumb scene.
look, I'll give you that. Like, oh, Zack Snyder's cut. The only two movies that I actually like from Zack Snyder, because they're almost all the same. They're because he just his scenes are so long. Like he's like, yeah, look at this tiger eating this guy. Keep watching, keep watching. Like, why? We get it. Like, there's a line where you're going, like, it's unnecessary for you to show this much, right? But like 300, really, really good. His Donna Dead, it was pretty good for a remake. Everything
I will
else,
follow that one.
I don't give a shit, dude. Trying to finish his cut of Justice League, my God, it took me a week. I could only do like 30, 45 minutes at a time. I struggled. Ugh.
So I watched it for the channel last year, and I will never commit to it again. It has moments that are really good. How great! Like that's the scene with Darkseid at the end. The way that movie ends is better, but it's not really finished as a film. There are moments where they're like, and then we just jump to this and just jump to that.
Yeah.
And it's great if you only can see the Snyder cut as a win for fans, well then fine, you're going to enjoy it because fans' voices are important and they do deserve to be heard. And if you vote with your wallet and that's what you get and that's what you want, then awesome. I think the Snyder cut's as good as the original cut of Justice League. 5 out of 10. It's funny to call all the Disney stuff failures, which there's been tons of failures. Don't even get me started on your Disney Star Wars. Like Disney Star Wars is mishandled. Marvel is being mishandled.
Yeah.
Historically, it's been fine.
I think at this time the bad movies is starting to outnumber the good as far as the MCU. Like, I don't know what changed with Feige, but like, I mean, there's just this shift into like, we can do whatever we want. Like, oh man.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. I'm not going to disagree. I think a lot of it too is just I don't know, they've been there, done that type of shit. It is what it is. I don't think it's too much to ask for high quality, just genre entertainment. Not enough people are giving it to us. They don't treat the IPs right, and then look what happens. They don't make enough money. They blame the fans. Then it takes 20 years for this shit to come back, and then you get the militant fans that are so into the property that will buy up whatever comes out, and then that causes another schism in the fan base. Kind of like what Disney does. They manufacture their schisms. They like it because they get people talking. They think talking on social media equals a movie ticket bought. But we know that all their bullshit with the Star Wars sequels brought very little money. Oh, Jeff, they each made over $1 billion. They each cost $220 million. We know that Hollywood accounting is 2.5 times. I've done the math. Go back and watch the videos. I have all the facts, the figures, and the charts.
Yeah.
I actually love making those videos. Those are some of my most fun ones because they absolutely show you without a shadow of doubt that Disney Star Wars failed, that they shit the bed and they didn't know what they were doing.
Dude, take away all the budgets and stuff. You lost $1 billion from going from Force Awakens by the time you got to Rise of Palpatine. $1 billion. Yep. Dude, it's not about looking at how much they made, but how much potential revenue they lost.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's important to look at too. I don't disagree at all. Xavier to God, thank you very much. He says, rate Danny Elfman's scores: Batman, Spider-Man, Avengers: Age of Ultron, and Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness. I'm gonna go with Batman 89, then Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and then Age of Ultron, because I didn't even realize that Danny Elfman did the Age of Ultron score. I thought it was Alan Silvestri. The Avengers music all sounds the same. It's a good fanfare, but it's all the same.
Yeah. Batman for sure. The 89 Batman. Yeah, absolutely. Whatever it was for that they played, like for Wanda when she was in Temple of whatever the fuck with all the wizards, like there was a score and it hit and it like, oh man, like I really liked it. I don't know what happened to it because I didn't hear much of it after that, but that part stood out with. I can't remember shit about the Age of Ultron score at all,
or the movie. It's so forgettable, but it's like inoffensively forgettable.
Yeah.
Though
I loved Hawkeye's speech. I think that was the best part of that movie was his speech to Wanda.
Now, Modalicious has 2 important questions. Were there any January 6th allegories? Were there any Orange Man allegories? No.
No.
Not at all. The Batman was full of that shit. I don't know why more people weren't up in arms with the Batman, because the Batman's a very political film. The Batman reeks of politics. I mean, god damn it. They don't say white privilege more than how many fucking times in that movie? Like, I am, the thing is, like, we are all still embroiled in this culture battle, this culture war. I'm still on the same side, still fighting the battle, but we gotta make sure that we're realizing where this shit is. The Batman has it. Doctor Strange doesn't. It's
nope.
It's
I
like,
agree.
they don't even, it's multiverse shit. They don't even have time to address anything American politics like they do with the Captain America show or the movie or any kind of identity politics in this one. It's just, it's a movie. It's a fucking movie. Like, if the audience didn't ask these questions, I don't think it would come up that much.
I think that you're going to be seeing a lot of people really gravitate towards, like, well, you see, Wanda, she beat the men like instantly, but she had to fight the women because like it took long. You know what I mean? That in like just a little bit of that, but it was not shadowing the entire movie like what you had with like internet joke or whatever the fuck is whatever that dude was like. Ugh.
Well, the thing is, like, Wanda has always been the most powerful character. So
Right.
like, anybody that makes those complaints isn't really into the books or doesn't know, like, it's not about men versus women. It's just there are certain characters in Marvel that are super powerful. The Phoenix is fucking all encompassing. It takes over Jean Grey. So again, the women are the most powerful. Here's the thing, folks, that we're forgetting. Don't use the power argument with your favorite characters. Go, oh, great, she's got all this power. Nobody fucking reads her comic books, so that's why the characters don't, whatever. Like, pull that card. I'm with you, too. Like, I don't want these bullshit characters. I don't want America Chavez in my movies. So you know what you say? Oh, America Chavez, fuck her. Her book doesn't sell. I have outsold her in terms of revenue. Like, me, one guy. Like, I can talk shit about this character all fucking day. I can take a victory lap. You realize my first release of Stealing Solo outpaced the same month's Captain Marvel trade paperback? I moved the same amount of books. Like, what do you fucking do? Like,
and I supported that campaign, so I can talk shit too.
Talk shit. Back my comics, because they're not full of this shit. I literally am writing a comic that makes fun of wokeness, that makes fun of this shit. I don't know if we're gonna use our Portland superhero that makes fun of Captain Marvel. I came up with her as I was coming. There's a court scene at the end, and I was like, okay, it would be funny to have a note here about this character. Should I go back and add her? Like, believe me, I don't like any of this crap in my art. I think you need to appeal to the widest audience possible, and you have a duty to give the most complex, complete, and awesome story. And that doesn't mean, by today's standard, it has to be politically ideologically charged. It has to be universal, and it has to be fun for everybody. And that's where nobody gets it right anymore.
Yeah, I agree with that for the most part, but I also think like there's definitely a market for like niche, like that Elden Ring or whatever. I'm not gonna play that shit. I don't want to die 97 times to get another. You know what I mean? Like that's not. I'm just not into it. It's just not for me, and I'm okay with that. I don't need them to add in a difficulty scale thing just for me to be able to play it and not feel like dumb. But I feel like if it's just like if you're comfortable with your core audience or whatever, then do what you do, as long as it is get stale. You know what I mean? If you don't find yourself in this loop of doing the same thing over and over again, like just because that is what they liked at one point, like you got to keep doing it. I don't know if YouTube would be a good example of anyone around keep doing the same shit because it worked at one time. Can't think of anybody. But
oh, well, let's check in with our friend Sci-Fi George. Xavier to God, don't worry. I'm going to answer your Spider-Man question to talk about it. But I know you're not even asking or bothering me, so don't worry. I'm not. Anyway, back to George. Thank you, George. He says, Wanda wanted her family so much, but Vision wasn't a part of her goal. Yeah, that was weird. Wait, isn't Vision still alive? Like, or did that white body Vision not survive?
White Vision is still around, but she was like, "Ooh, gross, he's white now." Or I don't know, like I don't know why he never came up other than she put a hole in his head.
Dude, that was. Yeah, I'm with you though. Vision doesn't seem important. It's all about these kids. But Reed never showed his smarts. Black Bolt was nice. Photon was just an insufferable as Brie Larson. Loki sucked. 7 out of 10. So Sci-Fi George isn't too far off from my number score.
Yeah.
Black Bolt's death was bitching, though. How can you scream without a mouth? And he blows his own brain out. Dude.
By the way, Reed kind of fucked him on that one. If he says one word to you.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
I'm sorry. How dark was it, though, that the Illuminati killed their version of Doctor Strange?
Ooh, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, man. Like, if you like Doctor Strange, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, there's a lot of that, different versions, different facets of the characters. Go watch it if you like him, because he really is the star of this movie, but like really gets to flex that ability. Xavier God says, I was born in 2003 and Toby is my Spider-Man. He's the best. You have good taste, Xavier God. Now, let's go back and talk about the super chat you had mentioned, or I mentioned earlier, where you talk about the 20th anniversary of Spider-Man. So he says, my favorite movie of all time is 20 years old now. Yesterday, Spider-Man turned 20. There's not a year that goes by that I won't post on the anniversary of Spider-Man how important the movie is, because that was the movie that made me want to become an artist, made me want to become a comic book artist. You know, as a kid, I drew. I got tons of pictures. It was kind of nice. Even though it's sad my grandma passed away, when we cleaned out her stuff, what I found in one of her drawers that she kept near her bed was some of the old art I did. Old Star Wars drawings, Han Solo, the Battle of Endor, that kind of stuff. So I've always been an artistic kid and liked that stuff. But something about Spider-Man made me like comics, not just for the comics, but how they were made and the people that made them. I was so excited to get the box set of Spider-Man. Here's the story. Halloween 2002. My first party, I'm 14 years old, so you're going to a party with girls and this and that. It's cool. Had a good time. But what was more important? The very next day, I remember getting up, going on the bus, rarely took a bus, out to pick up Spider-Man on DVD because I had to have it the first day. And in that box set, there was Kevin Smith's Monsters and Marvels, which was an interview series he did with Stan Lee, which really taught me a lot about the making of comic books, Jack Kirby, John Romita, all these really great names that you should all know. And then that movie, I kept watching it and learning and loving the characters that I'd already loved my whole life. And it just all kind of created this version of me that people see now. So I really do credit that first Spider-Man movie. So I love Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, all of them. It's magic. We still haven't surpassed the highs of the Raimi Spider-Man movies. This new one was great. I really enjoyed what we got. But damn it, the shit you get in Spider-Man 1 and 2, like the scene between Green Goblin and Spider-Man, especially at the end. You know, I have a father. His name was Ben Parker. That whole fight, it's great. It's tense. It's violent. It's in your face, man. It's personal. It's everything Spider-Man is supposed to be. That is what I would rate as a truly great superhero moment. Oh, I want to watch it afterwards, man.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it. It's been a minute, but yeah, I remember Green Goblin like having those flashes of like actually being like terrifying. You know what I mean? Like up to that point. Up to that point, we had cartoons, comics, and then X-Men came out, right? Yeah. So like, yeah, it was just kind of jarring to be like, oh man, that dude's a little scary, but like it did what X-Men didn't do. You know, it had faith in portraying it in a honest way, and rather than like, well, we don't. Trusting the audience to get it without having to make it like, no, we're like, Linkin Park is hitting now. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? Like
yeah, it does make sense, dude.
Like, yeah, like that. I've always appreciated that. And you see, by the time First Class comes around, they're like, well, I guess maybe people aren't, can kind of really get this as, this whole thing. But yeah, I definitely appreciate and admire them going full in on it being not slapstick, but almost like a little campy, but not overly campy, if that makes sense, right?
It does.
Yeah, and yeah, so you really have to, because like before that, there was nothing successful other than the X-Men, and all that showed you is that you got to change a lot about the characters for them to be accepted by the mainstream audiences, and they just went, fuck it, we'll do it this way. I appreciate
Now, Jesse, I wanted you to hear the super chat from our friend Rob Brantz. LADA will not charge the jerk off who attacked Dave Chappelle, especially with the tape evidence. This is a scary time for comedy now.
Why not?
that. He had an update to that one. He
Oh,
has
there's
another
an
super
update?
chat. Yeah.
Oh, correction. No felonies, couple of misdemeanors. Okay, it was 2 super chats up. That's
So that was my immediate reaction when I heard about what happened to Chris Rock. Was the really scary part is that we've now emboldened people to feel like it's okay to attack physically a comedian for hurting their fifis. And then what do you have weeks later? I mean, we're barely a month removed from this event, and you have another prominent comedian getting attacked over hurt fifis.
and Dave Chappelle.
This is premeditated too. This
Yeah.
is not even. This is over jokes he told even before the Oscars happened.
Wait, do we
this
know
is
that
a
though?
premeditated assault on a comedian over jokes.
There's pictures of the guy's tweets, man.
Oh, is there?
Yeah,
I haven't seen him. That's why I was asking.
His tweets. He was pissed about the transgender jokes.
Oh, okay. I mean, I
it was a
figured.
whole
but-
thing with he's coming after my people too much. He even posted, I believe, he posted a meme, a Will Smith meme about how he is coming for Dave Chappelle, a la Will Smith coming for Chris Rock. So I'm like, I didn't even have to make the connection. Homeboy did it for me.
I figured that was, I guess, one. I haven't like catch up on it today because I was out having to watch movies and stuff. But by the way,
That's what we do.
the shot that I saw of like him trying to spear him, like it looked like he bounced off of him because Dave is swole. Like, that dude is solid. You know what I mean? And I'm okay with the misdemeanors because he also had a few extra gifts that they gave him.
Yeah.
I already had that.
So I think it kind of like evens out, But it's definitely, this isn't a new thing. Like you can find videos on YouTube of people coming up on stage. There's one dude came up on stage and the guy was like a guitar comedy guy and he hit him over the head with the guitar. And unlike the movies, it didn't go well for him. So it does happen. But I think that the putting with the whole Will Smith thing, it's like it is reinvigorating a lot of people. Like, yeah, what is stopping me from going up there? You know what I mean? It's just putting it out there.
I do know what you mean, dude. I don't like where it's going because
oh no,
comedy hasn't been funny for a while, and now it's like this version is enough to get people hit. It's bullshit, man.
It's really hard to try to be woke and abide by all of the different language rules and then still be funny. You know what I mean? Because like right now they're having to change it to birthing person because they kind of painted themselves into a corner. I'm not going to get into all that, but I'm just using the language example, right? So having to, navigate all these different roles. Like, I don't know how they talk to each other because they're constantly like, wait, can I say this or am I going to get in trouble? And the other person's like, I'm listening. They better not say something. Fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no honesty in a conversation between, within that ideology.
Now, our friend Xavier DeGant says, Toby's Spider-Man from 2002 looks better than No Way Home. In terms of the CGI model, yeah, there are certain shots in that first movie. The fucking shot of him jumping through the Razorbacks looks photorealistic. I didn't realize it was CGI as a kid. As an adult, it looks better than anything. That specific scene looks better than any Spider-Man appearance, the Tobey Maguire one, in No Way Home. I will say that because it was just perfect. It looks real, and it always has. There are tons of shots that don't look good. There are tons like
web swinging.
The web swinging.
It's gotten better over the years.
Yeah, I do prefer the physics and the camera work of the first web swinging though compared to the new version because I don't like going with Spidey the way like I hate the way Andrew Garfield swung around, especially in the opening of Amazing Spider-Man 2. I didn't like seeing Spider-Man flying through the air with his suit rippling and all this extra shit. There was just something grandiose that the Raimi version had when he would swing out to the music. Every time Spider-Man swung on screen, it felt epic. Like back then, that was the biggest thing you were going to see on the movie screen. Spider-Man was real, and it was awesome. And it's not for me, seeing it constantly doesn't diminish it. They just don't treat it with that grandiosity. That's not even a word, but anymore. And I miss that. I wish they would just treat it's a superhero. That's what it's meant to be. Whenever Superman appears and they play the theme, did you get tired of hearing it? No, you were puffing your chest out, ready to fight crime alongside him.
That theme's so good, man.
It's the best theme song ever.
Yeah.
I can't.
Did you ever see the Dwayne, not Dwayne, Howard? Oh, damn it. What's his name, man? The center for, he played for Orlando. He did in the dunk contest. He had that Superman dunk that he did where he puts on the cape and they play the song.
That's awesome.
Dwight Howard. Just thought of his name. Yeah, I'll give you the clip you can watch later.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite dunks. I'm not a big basketball guy, but you'll see it anyway. But yes, I get what you're saying. Like that song, even now, like when I hear it, it just hits you in that perfect way, you know?
It's just a piece of music that, like, and I know I'm a nerd here, it has to be the actual recording from the movie because it's just something about that one. But anytime I hear those notes where it's like do 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 do, and it starts to pick up before it hits the main Superman part, it's awesome. Oh, like in the fucking Goonies, that's one of the best jokes in that movie when Chunk rips his shirt, or Sloth rips the shirt open, and it plays the Superman theme.
Yeah,
and you're like, yeah, holy shit, he is Superman in this moment. Like it's really important, the music element in all these superhero movies, and I wish we kept, like, Doctor Strange did it well. I'm not going to sit here and lament the fact that that's dead. Doctor Strange had a really strong musical identity, and adds another layer of interesting art to superhero movie.
Well, I feel like that's been missing throughout the MCU. I don't think they've put in the effort into their score as they could have. For sure, it was not at the top of their list, nowhere near. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
of things that they wanted to hit.
Well, that's what happens when you have the Marvel Farmville factory of superhero movies, where it's, you don't have the depth. They're not as emotionally satisfying because they read like a comic book. Working on a comic like Woke Busters, which is like a graphic novel, a more in-depth story, versus like a monthly, the further adventures of whatever. It feels like that with the Marvel movies. There's nothing wrong. There's a reason the monthly books sell, whatever, thousands of copies and are, around still. But people do get excited for the big stories too. And the old comic book movies used to all be the big stories because they were novel and new. What the hell? A cat knocked something over. But no, they're just, I'll leave it at that. Law of diminishing returns, no longer what it used to be. But I had fun with Doctor Strange, man. Xavier to God has an interesting comment. He wants to say, I know X-Men Origins Wolverine. Is that a good movie? But man, I know X-Men Origins Wolverine. It's that good of a movie, but I won't call it one of the best X-Men movies. I won't either. But
yeah, I'm with you. I'm not going to call it one of the best. I love the introduction, like the intro of them going through war and getting shot, you know what I mean, over and over again. I thought that was great.
That part was cool. Dude, really I haven't seen that movie since it came out like over 10 years ago.
Yeah, the intros is still the best part of it. After that, you're good. But I love Liv Schreider. I think he's a great actor, and I was excited for him to be Sabretooth, right? Because like it's actually somebody with like legit chops. And I would have loved to have seen that dynamic play out in the hands of somebody other than Gavin Hood. I'm surprised I remember who directed it.
Yeah, I am too. I would like to get his address so I can write him a strongly worded letter about the CGI clause. John,
how were they worse than what they were in the 2000?
Dude, that's kind of like a microcosm of where Marvel movies are now, where like, how is the shit from earlier just that much better? Yeah. Excuse me. I apologize, folks, for coughing in your ear. John Ghost, thank you very much. He sends a $10 super sticker of Level Up. Well, John, thank you very much for the support. I'm giving you a thumbs up, but you can't see it. Thank you. Track Media Only, thank you, says Man of Steel was a sci-fi movie with Superman references thrown in, like G.I. Joe movie was a bad action flick with a few references slapped in. Yeah. Mad, would you ever go out and have this extreme opinion that there still has not been a truly great Superman film and we're waiting?
I never got into the I don't know his name, the director, his Superman 1 and I guess kind of 2.
Richard Donner.
Yeah. Like that was never. I was too far removed away from those being very impactful for me. So like I'm kind of indifferent for them. I did not care for the Superman Return, whatever that was.
Yeah, me
And
neither.
Zack Snyder's it doesn't even understand Superman at all. So yeah, I don't think. I mean, looking back, I don't think we've had. I mean, maybe Ben Affleck in Hollywoodland.
Okay.
I don't know, man. Like Superman has never been I've never been a DC guy, and Superman is he's white bread. He's boring as shit. You know.
I
He's
like
just-
the character when done right.
Yeah.
I just people want to generalize Superman and brush him off as passe and archaic when yeah, there's tons of that Americana element that is no longer 1940s post-war America, 1950s G. Willikers and all that stuff. Yeah, but there's more than that to Superman, and it really shows how myopic some of these people out here in Hollywood are because they just look at Superman as that or the red underwear. Like you guys are missing the point. The fact that the trunks are off the suit is such a priority, but you can't get the, I don't know, the elements of Smallville or the relationship with his family correct. Like those are bigger problems. I will always give Superman a chance because of how important and impactful the character is. And there was a point in time that I felt the wonder and excitement of Superman. I caught the Fleischer serials very early and couldn't get into Superman comics because he was dead. And so he wasn't in the books. But like when the cartoon came out, I was like, oh, Superman, I'm here. And I watched that show every day, just as much as Batman. I even had the Burger King toys, used to play with those too. Like, I'm waiting. I'll give it one more shot, man. Like, I really want Superman to have that truly great film.
I'm always gonna go watch it. Like, no matter how bad all of these get, I'm gonna end up watching the majority of these. Especially if it's like a man.
I'm gonna skip. Yeah, I believe me, that's important. But I'm gonna skip the Marvels. I'm gonna skip the Marvels full stop.
I am too. I say this, but I know I'm gonna end up having to watch it because somebody's gonna want to talk about it on the stream, and then they're gonna reject my invoice for being refunded for having to go see it. It's a whole thing. By the way, I'm sending that invoice to you later on.
It's okay. I'll help you out, man. I appreciate
No.
you showing up. Now, Xavier to God, this is our last super chat of the evening, I believe, and it is an awesome one. Jeff, why would you say the Spectacular Spider-Man is better than Spider-Man the Animated Series? I know it had potential, and I think if it got at least 2 more seasons, it might have even been better. Well, Xavier to God, I am in the camp of the Spectacular Spider-Man is the best Spider-Man cartoon ever made. I grew up watching the 90s cartoon. I remember the day it aired. It was very cool. I love it. Music, action. I go back and watch it and still get excited. I have become a Spider-Man fan of the entire character, meaning I didn't just like 90s comics or 80s comics. When I was 14, deep into my comic book mania, as I still am, I got Marvel Masterworks volumes 1 through 4. They had paperback editions at B. Dalton Books, and I read from the beginning. And I really developed an interest in the Ditko era of Spider-Man, the beginning. The Spectacular Spider-Man was the first one to really incorporate the high school Peter Parker, that era of, it included characters like the Enforcers, who had never been ever adapted. I mean, really, you're seeing Marvel stuff, Spider-Man stuff that had never been touched because it was from the early days. And the guys that created it wanted to do even more and continue to elevate and grow the characters. For what we got, it was great. Did it need more? Goddamn right it did. All the great Spider-Man shows, all the great cartoons just kind of end. They don't really have a finale. They don't get a final moment. Spider-Man, the animated series, it needed more. It needed 1 more episode or 1 more season, in all honesty, to tell what happened to Mary Jane and all that other shit. But beyond that, let's talk about some technical aspects. I know time has been kinder, Xavier to God, but like the action of the Spectacular Spider-Man looks great. Spider-Man has never been so consistent. He's never looked so graceful as he swung around the city. The voice casting was great. I loved the relationship between Eddie Brock and Peter Parker, even though it was a little different than the comic. It was much more enjoyable than what's his face? Who's the voice actor that does Apu? I can see his face.
Oh, Hank Azaria?
Yeah, Hank Azaria. Thank you. Hank Azaria, like, he's the voice of Venom and he's funny and fine and shit, but like, I can't think of a better Spider-Man the animated series didn't do any characters better than the Spectacular Spider-Man. And I'm really trying to go back. Like, the Connors were much more fleshed out in the Spectacular Spider-Man. Even though Gwen Stacy wasn't a part of the other series, the Spider-Man animated series, like Mary Jane, all the characters felt important. They even pulled out Liz Allen. Yeah, they changed her, and I didn't really like that they made her look different, but damn it, Liz Allen had the relationship. The Flash Thompson shit, Randy Robinson, like, they really got the Peter Parker cast down, but they gave you all the Spider-Man reward too. So, folks, I would recommend the Spectacular Spider-Man over anything I've talked about tonight. If you haven't seen it, watch it. And if you think the art style sucks and that's why you haven't watched it, give it a shot, because you're only hurting yourself by skipping that cartoon.
So I don't agree with any of that. I think that the Neil Patrick Harris Spider-Man cartoon was the best.
Ooh, that's a good show.
Oh, is it really? I was joking, man. It looks horrible. I didn't watch it. Wasn't it on MTV?
It was Friday nights at 10 o'clock.
Oh man, I thought I was gonna get you on that one.
I didn't know Spider-Man.
I didn't know you were gonna like that one too.
I like elements of it. It was okay. So the way it was pitched at the time, it was meant to be the further adventures of the Tobey Maguire movie. So,
oh really?
You were supposed to watch that show, even though it didn't look like him and have any of the crossover. And that was like a thing people talked about, is the further adventures. He was in college. It was the right age, this, that, and the other. They even had Michael Clark Duncan play the Kingpin on that cartoon, which then would cross over with a Daredevil movie in a weird way. Like, whatever. The point is, all the Spider-Man cartoons before Ultimate Spider-Man have their own merits. Anything post Ultimate Spider-Man is garbage.
Okay.
So let's put this awesome episode to bed, because I would like
one last thing.
Yeah,
while
of
we're
course.
talking about cartoons, right? I don't know what it was, X-Men Evolution or some shit. I came across it one day, and I shit you not, they had Logan wearing a motorcycle helmet.
Really?
Why? Like, I get it. You're like, oh no, we need to make sure that the kids know, always wear your helmet. Yeah, but they also get, it's okay if he doesn't. Anyway, it just bugged me for years. Yeah. I don't know why
that's weird. Oh man,
that was it.
Yeah, it was X-Men Evolution. I had to look that one up actually.
Oh, was it? Oh yeah. I've never watched an episode, but for whatever, I was flipping through and I ended up on a scene. I'm like, oh, nice, X-Men. You know, I got a little nostalgia. I'm like, wait, why does he have a helmet on?
Did you ever see Wolverine and the X-Men? It was like a blink and you miss it X-Men cartoon from the early 2000s.
Oh, I think I may have. I'd have to let me look it up real quick and see if visually if it. I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah, one season. Shit, I didn't realize it was. I mean, it was fun though. Like all those.
Oh yes, I did.
That era of Marvel cartoon was fun. That Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Spectacular Spider-Man. Marvel had found like a new footing, and then the movies were coming out and they were good. Like, I was the most excited as a Marvel fan as a child, but then as an adult, I loved it from the release of Iron Man through Endgame. Honestly, it was that exciting. It was over a decade of fun for me. Well, 11 years, yeah.
I have yet to get any of the characters that I really want. Like Cannonball is probably my favorite overall. And he's never had a real big role, right? But I don't know. Always him and Gambit have always been at the top of the list for me.
Well, I'm down for Gambit. I think we're gonna get some cool X-Men one day.
I don't know if anybody can even do that accent, that Cajun accent.
Xavier to God, thank you very much. He says Spider-Man, the new animated series, was supposed to be an Ultimate Spider-Man show, but because of the success of Spider-Man 2002, it changed to be like it.
I never cared for the Ultimate Spider-Man, or was there a Spider-Man 2000 or some shit? No, 2099.
2099. That's the only alternate version that I give a pass to because it's not Peter Parker. It's like in the year 2099, somebody else took up the mantle, and I'm like,
Yeah,
that one works. I like Miguel O'Hara. Xavier to God, I like Ultimate Spider-Man enough that I can read the books and go, cool, I'm having a good time reading Ultimate Spider-Man, but I'd rather read Amazing. I did play the game though, Ultimate Spider-Man. Beat that on Xbox. You were 2 years old when that game came out. There you go. We'll age it like that. I remember getting that game in high school. I was like, Mom, can you drive me to Best Buy? I had a job at a fast food restaurant, so I could afford to buy it. I played it. It was great. It was the only Spider-Man game where you could web swing and then hold a button and he would climb it like a rope.
I 100% played that. Yeah, the Spider-Man. Yeah, dude, I did. I even played the Superman on the N6. Was it on the N64?
Sadly. Well, man, I think it's time to put this baby to bed.
I'm starving.
We've had a fun time, Doc. No, don't apologize, dude. I want to thank you for joining. Dion couldn't make it through the show, so if Dion passed out on air, it would just be me going,
"Oh, Dion, I'm here for you. Why won't you let me help you?"
He fell asleep, didn't he?
Yeah, he's been out for an hour.
Oh man, if I knew that, I would have took off one of those codes in my name.
Well, that's okay. You co-hosted the show tonight, buddy. You the real MVP.
I had a great time. I love how like all the pushback I got. I actually really enjoyed it. I'm like, oh, this is different. People challenging what I say.
That's how a conversation's supposed to go down, and that's how they're going to go down continually on World Class Bullshitter. So, folks, make sure you're always subscribed and tell more people, because nobody wants the echo chamber. Nobody wants the same old thing. And if you disagree or agree, awesome. Please let me know. I don't ever need validation. I just want to know what you think, because you're here to hear what I think. So, respect goes both ways. Now, it's time for something special.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Julian. Happy birthday to me, your old pal Buffalo Jeff.
There you go, buddy.
Oh,
that was
that's
creepy.
Gonna haunt me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to have a birthday again.
You won't. Don't worry.
Whoa.
Hey, sorry. Life imitates art. It's getting a little too serious.
Oh, man.
So, folks, we're going to get out of here. We're going to go. I'm going to go have some probably cold Chinese food. I'm going to get this show ready to upload, and I'm going to get my video ready because I went to the Funko World headquarters last week. I'll put that out on Saturday morning. I'm working on Amber Heard video written, and I'm going to go back to the short form videos. I keep having little hiccups pop up, but I'll give you guys a video about the state of the channel and all that fun stuff soon. But it's exciting. Been given new opportunities, and want to use those opportunities to make YouTube and other platforms we're going to soon kick ass. So you're going to be hearing a lot from me, but make sure you guys are checking out Woke Busters. Like I said, there's a delay on the book, but I'm going to make sure that everyone gets their trading card, shirts, slime, etc. By the end of the month, I'm going to have begun to order and make sure that I have the trading cards finished and all that fun stuff. So, folks, just use the hashtag WokeBusters. Go to WokeBustersComic.com. I'm going to add the finished pages over there so you can read the story and get really excited about the funniest comic event of 2022. And in the meantime, Mad, what would you like to tell everyone before we go?
Oh, well, I'm going to go ahead and drop my link in the here. The link for mine, it's entirely different than this. The production value is a lot less over on our stuff. We do street smarts a couple of times a week. We learned about guerrilla driving, like how to, do like offensive driving if like you're in a Mad Max scenario, which apparently that was the world in 1994. It was a crazy video.
Oh, sure.
So, yeah, we watched that. We had a lot of fun with that. I do speakeasies late at night. I invite Jesse all the time. She ignores me. Oh, I don't know if you can hear it. But yeah, so we had a lot of fun with that. We're starting the Mad Fap is what we're calling when we pause a video. Like, we're doing that sometimes as well. So yeah, we'll probably be Mad Fapping soon. Oh, I'm working on I also did Mad Splanations where I'll mad explain something that people may not know about. I did pandas, I did rhinosaurs, and now I'm gonna do Elon Musk. So
nice. Can't wait to learn more about him.
It's all nonsense, and I'm gonna make it all up. But yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Hey, the internet's full of alternative facts, so you're in line with that. Thank you, Xavier to God again. He says, I know Spider-Man Unlimited is hated, but I love it. I, again, remember the day it aired. The theme song's cool. I don't really remember it outside of Spider-Man before he switched costumes had yellow eyes.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm glad you like it. I hope this is what I want for Spider-Man Unlimited. When they make those Spider-Man games where they put every costume in, put that character version in, and then put the figure, make a figure because it looks kind of cool. That's where Spider-Man Unlimited should live. Put it out on Disney Plus, give it the DVD release. You know, it's a valid version of Spider-Man. Is it my favorite? No. Would I ever buy it? No. But I'd probably buy a $30 action figure because it's pretty fucking cool with that cape. Capes are cool. Just ask Tom McFarlane. But yeah, that's it for today, folks. We're going to be back next time with more, and that is Saturday. So in the meantime, be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other. Oh yeah,
I always forget. I always forget.
You can still say we're alive.
This was a world-class bullshitter production. Is that it?
No, it's .com.
Ah, man, that makes sense.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name?
My name is Jeff.